here. Uh, I just wanted to say that before everyone else came on. So let me go ahead and get started. So guess who's here? You're right. It's this guy. Hello. And then guess who we caught? Like in the last 5 minutes before the show started, a wild Charlie wandered in and we were like, snap up, this is ours.
It's Christmas movies. How do you not talk about this?
I know, for real. Like, we've been watching Christmas movies all week, like, just binging hardcore.
The hubby just ran into the room and said, so you're talking about Die Hard?
Yes, we are actually going to talk about Die Hard. Tom convinced me at the last minute yesterday.
It is a Christmas movie.
Yes.
It is a Christmas movie.
Well, like, okay, and on top of that, his presentation, if you will, his oral presentation, really did convince me. So, guess who's going to have to repeat it again today? Not me.
Yes, I have very particular views about what is a Christmas movie. Because to me, Christmas movies are a genre.
Okay, first off, if you have technical difficulties on your bingo, which I should probably actually share that link. Let's see. Oh, I am a hot mess today. All right. There is the bingo one. It is not even the right one now that I realized it. Oh, can you tell that it's December and none of us are doing that great? Okay, hold up. First off,
We're going to get there. We swear.
y'all, you just don't know. Okay. Okay. I can see that the editing option is not that great, so here's what's going to happen. If you get a Harry Potter one, just get it. You just get it. It's not like, I'm going to be straight up with y'all. It's not like anyone's going to get their stuff this month because we found out, right, like literally the night before we were going to ship everybody's stuff priority USPS, that there's people who've had their stuff shipped priority USPS before Thanksgiving who still haven't gotten theirs. And they filed insurance claims with the Postal Service, and it has done nothing. So we had to essentially revamp how we were planning on shipping everybody's stuff out. And with UPS, they don't have boxes because we were going to use the Postal Service boxes. So long story short, we've had to revamp everything. So it's December, it's 2020, it's a rolling trash fire. Everybody is going to get stuff, though. It is, honestly, if I'm brutally honest about my Dark Overlord plans, I am planning, it's my hope to be able to, like, to find a way to get everybody to get a gift, to get a prize, before this is over. Because I think everybody should get something. I know, so controversial yet so brave. So... But nevertheless, because of the Postal Service and UPS is also super behind, as is FedEx, it's like, when will you get it? Mm-hmm. Apparently nobody knows. Not even UPS, FedEx, or the Postal Service. So, anyhow, I'm going to stop talking about me. And let's see, what should we do? Let's say hello. Let's say hello.
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 Yo.
Y'all are killing me today. Stevie is here. We were literally discussing, is Stevie going to show up? It's Christmas. Is anybody coming? I mean, yes, we were having a pity party before we caught a wild Charlie. We were like, nobody's going to come. This is it. Everybody's busy with their Christmas stuff or whatever. And I understand. But, like, this is the closest thing I have to a Christmas party. So I wore Christmas party makeup.
The hubby and I were actually talking about this the other day because I usually stream on Fridays and Christmas is Friday. And so we're going to do a chat stream Friday, the two of us. If anybody shows up, yay. If not, okay. But like my brain might like malfunction if I don't keep schedule because that's how my brain works. So it may just be the two of us just doing random stuff. Who knows?
Just the two of us. Yes. I don't know. I mean, like, let me know if you are doing one, though.
Oh, no, we are.
Okay, you are definitely.
We're definitely going to be doing a... a stream on Christmas because since we're not going to visit anybody, it's just going to be the two of us in the house with all the animals.
I mean, that's literally the situation I'm in because Tom's probably going to do delivery because there'll be so many delivery orders, right? That's how it was for Thanksgiving.
This is going to be a weird Christmas.
So I'm just going to be by my lonesome, and I'm like, wait, if you're doing something, yes, hello.
I just got the notification that you're live.
Yay!
Only 6 minutes in. Yay!
You know what?
Hey,
that's an improvement.
That's
I'll
good
take
for
it.
YouTube.
I will take this. Okay. Tom, Charlie, would you like to introduce yourself, for the edited version?
I'm Tom. I help co-host the show, sort of. I don't do much else. I deliver a lot of food. I sleep. I help Glory stay motivated.
It's true. You know how Tom's helping Gloria stay motivated this time? He's smoking chicken outside.
Yep.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charlie. My experiment to see how long it takes for people to get really annoyed by the sound of my voice is almost over because Vlogmas is almost done. And I am shocked that it looks like I'm actually going to have something for every day because I already have today's video scheduled and tomorrow's video recorded. And there will be kind of a wrap-up video coming out on Christmas Day. So that's all 25. I've got it planned out. This might actually happen, y'all. I can't believe it. I also stream on my channel on Wednesdays and Fridays, like I said earlier, because, I set a schedule, and if I don't keep schedules, I don't know, the gnomes are going to come and steal everything that's in my house, and bad things are going to happen. So I keep schedules as best I can.
Oh, the gremlins have been bad at the house the last day or two.
Yes, because the gremlins have been super bad. Also, Tom, your vocal fry on here is just crazy. It's just it's something else. So I hope everyone has technical difficulties on their new bingo card that I just made.
Why don't you post a link?
I did.
It never posted to the chat.
No, it's in the YouTube side. I saw it in there, but it doesn't. The links don't always come through on StreamYard, and I do not know why.
No, I'm. Oh wait, maybe I just have. Oh, I'm looking at top chat, not live chat. I hate this thing.
Welcome to the Christmas show.
Can I just say, YouTube is so broken when it comes to links right now.
Right.
Just in general.
I think YouTube's just broken, okay? I mean, Google's broken lately. This is a bad month.
If you do not have a link to the bingo card, let me know, and I will find a way to, DM you the link. I mean, honestly, I really will. Let's obviously today is a serious ADHD day, so let's go back to saying hi to people. Hello, Megan. It is so lovely to see you. How is Mountain Standard Time going? Yay! Yes! Yay! Oh, it's so lovely to be here. CB, let's see. It's a Christmas movie because it is set of Christmas. All right. Yep. Yeah. Well, Tom actually has some. Is my audio working? Yep. Everyone can hear me? Nobody can hear me? Okay, thank you.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Thank you. Suddenly, everything was super, super quiet rather than, normally there's a little tiny bit of background noise, And I suddenly got incredibly paranoid that, why, yes, this is the day. Y'all hear that?
Is that me? Yeah.
Mute yourself and we'll find out. Yep. Okay, it's gone. I don't care who did what. It's gone.
I'm just saying, this is the dubstep mix that's going to be coming out in the edited version of this because Tom just did the drop.
It really did. It had the drop from, what was that movie, Home? Where, which I really need to rewatch that movie. Oh, yes, because I cut my hair tick.
Yeah, looks like the microphones are just going nuts on this thing.
We literally went and dug. So I have made the living room an absolute hardcore mess because That's where we had been storing all of our audio equipment and our video equipment, as well as our photography equipment from when we were working on an oral history project here in Mississippi a couple years back. It has never been finished because we ran out of funding. And when I say funding, I mean we ran out of gas money. That's just the truth. And so we still have all this equipment, though, that we had, amassed off of Chinese imports. And we were like, hey, let's try some of these lavalier, some of these mics, right? And it's like, no. Okay, so anyway, we are deep into the technical difficulties. I hope everybody has technical difficulties on their bingo. I'm not saying that you should totally refresh and just keep regenerating another bingo card so you get one, but I'm saying that I would. So, yeah, so we are going to talk about the first Die Hard movie.
So good.
CB set up a new laptop today. That's freaking fantastic.
Awesome.
Okay,
And also the perseverance necessary to do that, even when everything runs perfectly, let alone if anything is even kind of titchy. Yep. Oh, that reminds me, Tom or Charlie, do you want to share with anybody running Windows about the problem with the new update, do not update yet?
Oh, yes. In the latest, Windows is trying to destroy your life and your computer. If you do the latest update for December and you run check disk, then you have one of the newer, fancier solid-state drives, there's a good chance it'll die.
Oh, no.
Yeah, apparently check disk has a real problem fault, and it will destroy it.
That's not good.
So no matter what it asks you,
be warned.
But this probably also means if you have a problem with your flash drive that you plug into the USB and it says cannot recognize, please format. You may want to try a different computer temporarily.
Be careful. Yes, there will be disasters. So yeah.
By the way, I checked. I changed to live. There's still no link.
Okay.
You have the technical difficulties of even swallowing beverage.
Everybody's having them. Let's see.
Post that link, baby.
Can you hear me type? This is just so theatrical. Okay. All right.
It worked.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought, well, maybe if I just type in some words with it, it'll go, oh, surely this is not spam. That was my theory. Yes, Stevie said I did it myself. That's fantastic. I remembered setting up mine, and Cat is here. Meow, meow. I'm in that mood today. Curry. There's the reason I need a carer. Okay. Megan says she'll join us on Christmas, Charlie.
Awesome. Sorry, the hubby was just warning me that apparently he did a throwdown post in the Discord, and so if everything goes wild and my Discord notifications go crazy, it's his fault.
Oh, well.
So
there we go.
Isn't that what significant others are for?
Is that what you're for?
Yeah, I'm here to cause chaos.
Yes, the Chaos Bunny is in. You married one, and so yeah.
I made sure to involve both parties.
Yeah.
2 or 3 hosts. I mean,
so yeah, I'm all for leftover curry. Yeah,
leftover curry is good.
Cat says Stardew Valley dropped an update today.
Always
Hope it
nice.
works. I mean, not like saying it wouldn't, but it's like with everybody having all sorts of technical stuff going on, technical difficulties and hackings and Pentagon.
That like nobody's talking about? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
How is the current person not working for the Russians? I mean, seriously.
No comment. I mean, you have to ask yourself, are you an inadvertent ally of enemies of the state? You just, at a certain point, one would need to ask themselves if they had even 2 brain cells to rub together. I am not not sure what's going on about custard, but I'm gonna just.
This
What?
is the Discord thing spilling over into.
Oh, all right. So I'm gonna have to literally in the middle of this haul my butt over to House of Blue Dragon. Click on the food one.
I couldn't help myself.
What in the world is Tenier dish?
The entire dish. I bet that's what.
Oh, you're right. That would make more sense.
There's a hot debate going on about is cheesecake cake or pie.
It's
and
pie.
I had to add custard to the mix.
And the hubby said, none of the above. I choose custard.
Okay, he may be technically
I'm
right.
just going to add more chaos to that and just say the way my Grams always made it, it was technically a Jell-O.
The gelatin one.
But since there is a crust that is used for it, it goes from being a custard to a pie.
Okay, here's a hot take. Maybe it's a bar cookie.
Bar cookies are just
really
pie.
Fancy jelly cookies.
No, but like
really
a lot of bar
large.
cookies have crust.
I know, but bar cookies are just pie that you've made square.
Sometimes it's a custard that you've made square. The crust.
Because there's a lot of pies with custard filling. It's a pie.
Okay. You know what?
Chicken butt.
Thank you. I needed that. Let's just go over one of the two snack boxes. Because I feel like it.
Are you going to make it, that's going to be at least 15, 20 minutes.
Do you not want me to?
No,
go on. Are you saying no?
I want to watch this in action.
Okay. Should I make it big?
Yes, Glory. Make it big.
Okay.
Behold the power of glory. All hail glory. Let the compliment bondage begin.
Stop it. How dare you? Okay. So, we could not find any appropriate baskets that we can ship. Because some of the baskets we found had incredibly high handles, and we could not find any boxes. So, in the spirit of 2020, we thought, hey, how about some lovely totes? So, is this what will necessarily, out of the two totes, is it going to be set up exactly like this? I don't know. You tell me what you want if you win. Okay. First off, vanilla cream drops. I'm not going to call them what people in the 80s used to call them down here in Mississippi.
Oh, yeah. I remember what they were called.
Yeah, no, I think we figured you were the only person who'd actually know what they're really called.
I still have to correct my mother when she was like, "Can you pick some of the blah blah blahs?"
But I always loved these. Even though I dared never say that word, and because my mother would slap the living crap out of me. However, I've always loved vanilla creams.
They're so good.
And I have a quick little Girl Scout recipe for you. You take a whole bag, put it in a microwave safe bowl. And you can also throw in some toasted nuts, if you have mixed nuts at home, because it's Christmas anyway, and you just chop up those really lightly. Throw those in, and you microwave for 30 seconds. Pull it out, stir, put it back in for 15 seconds at a time, and keep pulling it out to stir, just until it's barely melted. Because again, you're trying to not untemper your chocolate, and you pour it in a buttered dish, like a little, honestly, this bag is so small that I would go with a bread, those bread.
A loaf tin.
Thank you, a loaf tin. And you pour it into a buttered loaf tin. And if you want to add marshmallows right before you pour, you can do that. And you let it set, in the fridge, because you're in a hurry, because it's fudge. You just cut that into little, it is so decadent, y'all. It's delicious. But this is how we used to make fudge when I was a kid.
But specifically, though, the recipe is for the Zachary.
The recipe is specifically for the Zachary brand. I mean, yeah, I know. Their chocolates are not high quality.
Yeah, we talked about this. Zachary chocolates, with fillings to different things, are pretty good, especially for so low cost. But never get a Zachary just chocolate item. You will be so sad. It's like Magnum chocolate. It's a specially made chocolate just for things. Don't eat it on its own. It's sadness.
I think technically Zachary's is made in Indiana, and we don't care because it's super popular down here for cheap chocolate. Okay, but okay.
Yeah,
so
back the one exception.
Back to Southern goodies. Okay, both kinds of moon pies that are good: the chocolate and the banana.
Oh wow.
These are so good if you microwave them for 10 to 15 seconds and then eat it. Holy cow! You can, holy cow.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Always microwave your moon pies.
0 bars. Why, Glory? Why? Okay, there. These are originally made in Mississippi. Hershey's now owns it. I don't know where they're making it. They probably make it. So I don't know. But they were originally from Mississippi, so we wanted to include them. They are delicious. They're white chocolate. Oh, this one. Talk about a Southern specialty. This is peanut butter cornflakes candy.
Oh my goodness.
Do you remember this?
Yes.
This was after scrambled eggs. This was the very next dish I learned to make at 7 years old.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Pecan roll.
Yes.
Yes, baby. Yes, with the yeah.
And it's pronounced "pi" as in a pit.
It's pecan roll. It's not pecans. It's not. I don't know what are all the
pecans are something you use in the woods when you're by yourself.
Oh,
yes.
is it
Yes.
For the deer.
Agreed.
But it is pecan, not anything else. I don't care if you have a British accent. You still say pecan.
Agreed.
I don't care where you're from. You could be from Australia. You could be from Russia. You're gonna say pecan in front of me. Pecan.
Agreed.
It's pecan. There's almost a really quiet H there in the KAHN. Pecan. Okay. So anyway.
Agreed.
Oh, you mean the Star Trek style? Pecan.
Yes.
This
Yes.
Okay. So anyhow, where was I? Okay. Now this is an optional one. If you do not want boiled peanuts, we will not ship you boiled peanuts, so we could save on shipping.
Oh my goodness, boiled peanuts are
they're delicious.
Good.
But I know either people can get it where they live because we really weren't sure about how available this is.
I'm not that far north from you, and we can't get them here. We have to make them ourselves.
No. I would say these are actually surprisingly good canned.
Especially that brand.
Yeah. It's really good. So if you don't get it, we'll ship it to you. Of course, you have peanut allergy or something. And then again, under optionals is the RC Cola.
I am addicted to RC Cola.
Because Tom said not everybody can get this in America. You will need to provide your own peanuts because Tom did not find peanuts when he went out to the gas stations.
Oh, yes.
Because, yes, to put peanuts down, I'm going to tell you, being the Mississippi girl I was as a child, I did not put peanuts in my RC Cola. I put peanut M&Ms.
Oh, yes. All the
And they are still delicious. They're wonderful. And, so it is specific to RC Cola. It does not taste the same with Pepsi or Coke or Fanta. I have tried them all, honestly.
Fanta's the fascist soda.
Shut up. I love Fanta.
So did Hitler.
Okay.
I see we've now gone down the list far enough for Hitler
what is it?
to show
Isn't
up.
it Rule 42 or Rule 17?
Yep.
So, if you win any bingos and you don't want the RC Cola, you need to let me know. Or if you prefer something else, like, no, Glory, I want something crocheted. That's fine. I have more things that I got from the vault. Anyway, Lance Lemino cookies. That's all right. Also, to be perfectly honest, they come individually wrapped, it looks like. Or, wrapped in sets. So if you're like, I only need half, do not send me that whole thing if you love me and my diabetes. Okay, well, I'll just split it with the other box.
Those are so amazing.
And then the Lance Cap'n Wafers with white cheddar.
Yes. That's what road trips taste like. Dad would get so many of those, and we would stop at a rest stop and be like, it's lunchtime, and we would have those and freaking Vienna sausages.
Right, and I got the big box because I was planning on splitting it between the two totes.
I would say, and if you're really fancy, you'd also have a little bit of grape or jam jelly that you just scoop on.
Oh, yeah.
So you just have
These
your
are my
PB&J
favorite.
ready-made.
These are my favorite, Lance, the toasty with peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is so good with little strawberry jam or jalapeno jelly. Oh, it's really good with that. Then you get fancy. Okay.
That was road trip dessert.
I mean, that's how you know you're living high on the hog there. Okay. We could not think of anything possibly more southern than Golden Flake pickle barbecue potato chips.
Yes.
Don't look at the price. So, here's that. Okay. These are made in Mississippi. Apparently, they were invented here in Mississippi. We did not know this. We read the box. Purolines. I love these little purolines, these pirouettes. There's dark chocolate and there's chocolate hazelnut. And if you want both, that's fine. And if you only want one because you're like, I'm allergic to hazelnuts or I hate dark chocolate, whatever, I respect your choices. But they are so good, y'all. They're so good. This is my crack, yeah.
They're so good that I am convinced that they're what George Lucas was talking about when he was like, would you like some dust sticks? Because those are definitely dust sticks. I would have so many of them that I would just like, oh, so many.
Tom knew me and he got extra boxes for me. And I was like, oh, are those for Christmas? Go put them in the Christmas drawer. Okay. Nicote sandwich cookies with peanut butter. Y'all, you don't know what you're missing with these. These are so good.
Mm-hmm.
These are so good. And then the weirdest one, like at least I think it's weird, but it still tastes good. Look, I say weird, and you better believe if I'm saying weird, I'm eating it too. The Lance toasted cheese with peanut butter.
Yes.
Let me tell you, dogs will fight you for this.
Yes.
Yeah, they will.
Yes, they will.
They will beg, they will connive, and then they will try to trick you and bark at the window to make you go look out the window, and then they will go steal all of these. These are so good.
I almost lost a finger to my uncle's pit bull over.
I was gonna
Or
say,
happiness.
like, dogs will bite your hand for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like my miniature dachshund, she was the sweetest thing. She never bit anyone, but she almost nipped me, and she caught herself and stopped herself a time. And like, do you know how bad you have to be, like, or how good this has to be for my miniature dachshund to lose her mind for a moment and nearly nip my little fingers holding this?
So good.
These are so good. Like, because I'm like, oh, but cheese and peanut butter. And then I had one, I was like, well, I'm converted to this. So, these two. Okay. And then, these are made somewhere in the South. I want to say Tennessee. These are our favorite granola bars on the planet, other than the ones I make. Sunbelt Bakery. This is the peanut butter and sweet salty. There's also chocolate chip and good old-fashioned oats and honey. And look, I know it seems like they're healthy, but they're not.
They're definitely not.
No.
There's no such thing as healthy Southern food. Anybody who tells you otherwise is lying.
It's not. It's not.
They're lying. It's all for flavor and, you know,
I
happiness.
just wanted to go over all of the food now. I'll go over one of the things I pulled out of the vault. Oh, I forgot about. Okay, hold on. So I embroidered this. It's got padding and everything. It's hand done. Anybody wants this? It hangs itself. And I thought, well, you know, maybe someone else might like this, hand embroidered by an artist you know. There. But anyhow, I mostly just wanted to show y'all the Southern food. Okay. What have I missed? I wish someone else could run the chat. Okay.
That'd be lovely co-host feature. Come on, StreamYard, you keep promising. Like every time you announce new features, you're like, and that co-host feature you're asking for? Eventually.
You haven't missed too much. Eva came in.
Oh, where is Eva? The New York cheesecake discussion and chaos. There's Eva. Hi, darling. How are you? I messaged you on your new pen name Instagram account. Please check it at some point. Anything else that I missed? No, everything else? We're all good?
Oh, CB's going gluten-free. Kat has actually is surprised at how much she has eaten of all these goodies.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad to hear it.
And Megan has not, on the other hand.
Now, I will say, these, I believe, are actually gluten-free.
Yes.
Yes. It doesn't even have a, you know, like the little allergy advisory. It just says peanuts and soybeans.
And they make old man Kellogg roll in his grave because the whole point of cornflakes was to keep you from touching yourself and having things with flavor.
You know how that goes.
Don't forget also, no beef. It makes, men too.
Randy, yes.
Yep.
And I believe these are also gluten free. There's plenty of like gluten free snacks.
I would say the pecan log.
Yes, I believe so. I know that these are made in a facility with wheat, like the factory makes other snacks, but these don't have any, so it's like, where is your sensitivity level? Yeah. I wish you could have wheat because these are so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are so good.
Yeah, don't worry. At least half the bag is gluten free.
Yeah. So, and as I said, I will mail wherever you are. I will mail you boiled peanuts if that's what you truly want. But yeah, we made up some baskets. They're totes. Because utilitarian is 2020. We're just trying to get through, and also like, look, I was like where I normally get baskets or where all the COVIDiots shop right now because I was in a bunch of Girl Scout troops with COVIDiots, and that's why I know about all the craft stores, and the thrift shops, and the secondhand discount stores, and they're the ones that all sell the baskets I would normally go to get some pretty shippable baskets. And I'm like, I am not risking my life to go see these people who don't wear masks. So, but I have a ton of these. Obviously, I love these. So, anyhow, did everybody have fun with my show and tell? Charlie, do you have Christmas toys? Should we go ahead and do the showing of the toys?
I don't actually have. I don't think I have any actually. Well, no, I don't think I actually have any Christmas toys around me. I have a bunch, but they're mostly in the other room.
Skellington or Sally?
I mean, if you consider this a Christmas movie, which is debatable.
I mean, it is set at Christmas.
It is set at Christmas, and I think describes every Christmas I've ever had with like when I was a child and my siblings were still in the house.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
Because if you feed my brother after midnight, all hell breaks loose.
So, here's what I'm thinking. How about what we do is we do a 10-minute sprint so everybody can get their snacks, bathroom break, whatever. And that'll give me time to pack the boxes back up. And then when we come back, we'll get into Christmas stories and like what makes it a Christmas story aside from being set at Christmas. There's a little bit more to the ones that people watch again and again or read over and over. There's a little bit more to it. We'll go into the basics. Tom will give his Die Hard presentation and let the discussions begin. How about that? What y'all think? All right.
Sounds good.
All right, so I'm gonna share a screen. I figured we'd do Camille's 10-minute one. Okay. In 3, 2, 1, sprint. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, goodness. Let's see. I'm going to mute myself for. Okay. Tom went to go make banana daiquiri, I guess. Something with a banana.
We don't have
And I had to mute myself to go yell. Tom, we're back.
911 confusion.
I know. We all need to live on a commune somewhere. So I was like, okay, we're going to do a 20-minute sprint while we hop into the mule. Go drive cocktails.
So are we going to start with that Christmas classic, Kirk Cameron Saves Christmas? Have you never heard of this?
What? Kirk Cameron has not been a favorite
Oh,
of mine.
no. Okay. So I actually want to start with this because this is something that's really bothered me because I am a person of faith. I am a pastor in my like normal day-to-day life. Like that's what I do. And so Kirk Cameron, being the religious person that he is, decided to make a movie called Kirk Cameron Saves Christmas. That's, honest to God, the name of the movie. And the entire movie is him in the car with his brother-in-law explaining why his brother-in-law is wrong and that Christmas is all about the size of the presents, the size of the meal, and all of the material things and none of the spiritual stuff. We're not here to actually talk about like for a religious movie, you'd think he would be like, we're here to talk about Jesus, but no, he's like, all of this talk about like being good to each other, that's not what it is. It's about having towers of presents and like giving things to each other and buying things and having all the nice cutlery and really nice dishes. That's what Christmas is all about. What? That's the moral of the story in Kirk Cameron Saves Christmas.
What?
I'm going to just say it's everything I've come to expect of Kirk Cameron.
He berates this character that's supposed to be his brother-in-law, who, by the way, is named Christian. So he's literally berating Christian about how his annoying spirituality is getting in the way of the true meaning of Christmas, which is stuff. And he mentions like baked hams like 16 times. Like he loves a giant baked ham.
Wow. All right.
And I'm just like, this to me is like the weird dichotomy that has happened over the last like 10 years or so of my life, where there used to be really interesting movies, even if I didn't agree with them wholeheartedly, that were faith-based Christmas movies. And if like some of the best ones that have come out lately have absolutely nothing to do with that whatsoever. And one, I'm kind of okay with it because the message of like we should care for one another, we should help each other out, like that to me is the real message of the season. So, and these secular Christmas movies get that so much better than the religious Christian Christmas movies that have been coming out. And it's a bizarre change of events that is easily foreseen, but then you're living your best life according to Kirk Cameron. And I just feel like that's where you have, like, to me, that's where the whole discussion of Christmas movies starts is, yes, Christmas is not, nor has it ever really been, a Christian holiday. In fact, in England, the Christians banned the practice of Christmas when Cromwell took over.
I think you mean canceled Christmas.
Yes, they did.
The magic word.
Yeah.
They canceled Christmas. Which is why it keeps showing up at all the BBC Christmas specials. Oh no, it's Christmas canceled. Like, they are not letting Cromwell live this down 400 years later. I love it.
That's why we have mincemeat pie. That used to be called Christmas pie. And it's called mincemeat pie because it was illegal to sell anything related to Christmas. Yes. So they renamed it to mincemeat pie because Christmas was literally illegal when the Protestants took over England.
Right.
And so the idea that we have this like glorious celebration of amazing secular movies for the holidays is oddly appropriate for a holiday that has always been a people's holiday, much more than it has been an institutional religious holiday. And I just wanted to kind of say that off the bat
Get
because
that? Yeah. What do y'all have to get off your chest? I know. I'm telling Tom now. I am going to read the observations from about Christmas that you sent me from Imager, Tom. That's what I'm going to get off my chest. Is I'm literally going to read a Muslim man experiencing Christmas for the first time with his Christian roommate this year as my hot take. Tom, do you have one before that? Because you cannot do it. I've already picked it. This is what I'm doing.
Actually, I've got two.
Okay.
One is, where do we get Christmas, this gift-giving holiday, as we know it now, from? And that actually is only about 200 years old. As I was listening to our favorite lisping historian talk on, what was it called? Museum of Curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
We know him mostly from BBC Farm series, where people recreate a farm from a particular century. And it's a really fun documentary series. And he was talking about different medieval holidays and everything. Well, he also talked about, we get this Christmas we have now in part from, a poem from the, very early 19th century about Saint Nick.
Yep.
And then it sort of became it actually would make a really good children's holiday where we give gifts to kids, at the middle of this cold, harsh time. It really makes things better. And that's where we kind of get this celebration, and it's a children's holiday. And that's where we picked up Hanukkah as well as a children's holiday. It's, as I believe Eva pointed out, it's the darkest day today.
Mm-hmm.
We have very little sunlight. And that's the other part to me of what makes it a Christmas movie. It's not actually, to me, as much when it takes place. To me, the first three Harry Potter movies are all actually good Christmas movies.
Yeah,
because Christmas movies, to me, are about hope. You essentially start with there should be hope here part of the story, and then you strip away the hope. There's no hope left. We're all going to die in a miserable hell on Earth. And then we keep building up the story with more and more hope, till the end hope is restored. And to me, that is why Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yep. Die
Die Hard starts with John McClane going on a airplane to go see his, I can't remember if it's estranged or ex-wife.
I think it's strange. Like, they're not actually divorced. Well, it's been a while.
And but he's trying to, make it better. He's trying to rekindle this relationship. And then everything goes wrong at this Christmas party. Any point in a Western movie you do not have an option to put shoes on, you are in a very bad place without hope.
Yes.
And by the end, hope is restored. And that is why, yes, Die Hard, even without actually it being set during, a Christmas party, it's still a very Christmassy movie because it's about hope. Because it's right next to December 21st. It's right next to the longest day of the year. Because of calendar changes, it's no longer the longest day of the year on the 25th like it was. That was, part of the original. And it's about, renewing your hope for the year. That next year will be better. And so, to me, that is what makes the Christmas movie genre.
Yep.
Is, but the new year will get better. And we can already see a little bit of it. The sun is starting to rise more. And that was actually my pitch to Glory last night of why it is because you have to get more hope. And she explained to me, conversely, why A Christmas Story is actually a Christmas movie and why it does involve a lot of hope and where the hope is.
And the problem had to do with editing.
Yes.
The message was lost in the editorial, which had a lot to do with a relatively new director. But anyhow, I have tried now a couple times to give you all the Twitter link to this, and YouTube is like, no. And in fact, YouTube's saying no on a bunch of my messages I've sent. That's why all that came through, it looks like, is Twitter, and not the previous messages I said was like, and I had misspelled Twitter. did my Twitter link go through, and it didn't even that's not even showing up. So I am sorry. I'll be happy to share that with y'all on other social media. So, but anyhow, here it is. I'm just going to read it because, like, as somebody, we've celebrated Christmas my entire childhood, adulthood, but Mom came from a Jewish background. Dad came from a Presbyterian background, which I'm about to offend a bunch of Presbyterians. Here it is. When Dad told me this story, when he was 8 years old, they were in church. I can't remember if Dad said it had something to do with the sermon, but Dad turned to his father, Grandpa Rudy, and said, "Dad, what's a Presbyterian?" And his father turned to him and said, "Son, a Presbyterian is someone who goes to the church nearest to where they live."
Yes. And yeah.
Okay. I mean, unfortunately, the first time I ever told this story, I actually told it to a Presbyterian girl at her sleepover. Did not go over well. But anyhow, and I wasn't trying to be mean. Like, I just thought, oh, that explains what a Presbyterian is. As an 8-year-old, I just thought matter-of-factly, that's a Presbyterian. So, you know, Dad being raised that kind of Presbyterian, like, Christmas was not a big special deal. And it was just, you know, a holiday with a tree, a nice dinner, and some gifts for the kids. And, you know, later when VCRs were rentable, yes, it was the 80s, it was, you know, and we'd rent a bunch of movies and a VCR, and we'd watch movies all weekend. And this was like kind of the thing, like, this is what we know. And then when we got a little older, it was, yeah, we went to get Chinese food and we went to the movie theater and we watched whatever new movie there was to watch. That was like Christmas for us. Like, that was a big deal. And everybody get a stocking and everything, but it was never a very religious holiday. And apparently, even the way we decorate our trees growing up was very sparse in comparison to most people around us. Like, the way they decorate their trees, like, is there a tree under there? I can't tell.
If you can still see the green, there's
Right.
not enough
It's
stuff
not
on
decorated appropriately. Your tree's practically naked, you know, like, so obviously, like, the way we celebrated Christmas was very minimalist in comparison to how all of the Christian families around us were apparently celebrating Christmas. So, and I just felt this was most perfectly summed up in the guy's Twitter account is at Muhammad Hussein, and it's Muhammad with 2 A's, just so you know. Growing up, my Muslim family never celebrated Christmas. This year, I am not going home because pandemic. So my roommates are teaching me how to have my first proper Christmas. I am approaching this with anthropological precision. Here are a few observations. Here's a lovely picture of their tree that they have. It's in the middle. You can't, like, the couch. They have 2 couches, and it's right there, the smack middle, so no eye contact. Observation 1. Christmas is a part-time job that you have from mid-November to the end of December. From the outside looking in, Christmas always seemed pretty simple. I always thought you put up a tree and then gave gifts to family. This is a lie. Do you want to sleep on a Saturday? Too bad. Go put up some lights inside the house. Do you want to sleep in on Sunday? Too bad. Go put up some lights outside the house. Next weekend? No. Every free moment you have will be spent agonizing over the gifts you must buy. Observation 2. People have very strong feelings about their Christmas traditions. If someone is insisting that certain food is what you have to eat Christmas morning, because that's their family tradition, do not suggest alternatives. They will stab you in the neck. Observation 3. You can buy yourself a gift, but you can't stuff your own stocking. I feel like this is a life lesson. I don't understand this one, but I told my roommate I bought stuff for my stocking, and they said that's not a thing. I don't care. I bought myself mint chapstick, and I will fake surprise. Observation 4. Your gift budget does not matter. You can set this budget as high as you want, but the perfect gift will always be $10 too expensive. There is no winning. Just give up. Observation 5. There are 2 streams of Christmas ornaments. The fillers and the keepers. The fillers are the generic ones. The keepers are meant to be more special and unique. The second stream is stored in your family's reliquary. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yep.
To be one day passed on to the children. My roommates encouraged me to buy my own keeper ornament. They told me to find something that made me smile, and that was special to me. I bought this one, and I'm very happy. It is an everything bagel. I love it. It really does look exactly like an everything bagel, but with like an ornament top. Observation 6. Ornaments are expensive. That cost me $15.99. That's more than 3 everything bagels. I am furious. For what it costs, you best believe that I'm insisting that it be passed on to my great-grandchildren. If they break it, I will haunt them. Observation 7. The religious aspect of Christmas is optional. I really like this one. If I was to suggest having a secular Ramadan to my mother, she would have a heart attack. I will, however, be trying to get my family to do a secret Santa for Ed. The name's being workshopped. Which I'm like, that's actually a good idea. It's a nice way to get everybody gets a gift, but everybody doesn't have to spend so much on getting everyone gifts. You just get one really nice gift, and the person that you give to is not the same person who gave to you. It's just nice. I like it. Observation 8. You need a menu. Yes. This one is where they lost me. Last Christmas, my family ordered Popeyes and watched a movie. My roommate has an entire menu with wine pairings and desserts planned. To wrap things up, I want to applaud longtime Christmas celebrators. This is a lot of work and very tiring. I will say I am having a very pleasant time. I am learning that I enjoy Christmas music and gift purchasing. I am also learning that I do not enjoy peppermint. And that's it. And that pretty much does sum up my experience of Christmas. And over the years, I've gotten into it. But again, Charlie, we talked about this, I think last week, which was about the fallen hero trope and about sacrifice. And in Christianity, die for your sacrifice. And that's the only way to truly be lauded as a spiritual person, is you have to sacrifice your own flippin' life for this, rather than in Judaism and Islam, where, let's be honest, our mother was raised Jewish. In fact, she was raised Orthodox. And so she taught us what she was raised with. And that is that sacrifice is important, but you're not meant to die for it, because that is Judaism of so for instance, the COVID vaccine, apparently they may be using pork gelatin. And while, yes, for Orthodox, pork is normally trace, it is forbidden. However, since it is there to save lives, it is acceptable, and it is in fact encouraged to save lives by using this thing that contains a derivative of something that is forbidden and considered poison. Of no, medicine is different and medical care is different. And so that is how I was raised. And so it is I've always felt like an anthropologist about Christmas and Christmas stories. I have enjoyed most Christmas stories, but I'm coming at it from an outsider's perspective, and as well as being autistic. So again, everything I like, I'm not expecting any of y'all to like. And so I just also wanted to clear that up. And just in case anybody, especially from previous episodes, is well, this is what Glory thinks about dark Disney era movies, but I like it. I'm you're absolutely entitled to like all this stuff. And I do not expect you to agree with me one bit. I would in fact be surprised if anybody's Glory's absolutely right, 1000%. I figure I'm the only one who thinks like me. You think like you. It's fine. We do not have an argument. So, yes, I did not think of Die Hard. I've watched Die Hard only once. I did not think of Die Hard as a Christmas movie, but when Tom gave me his presentation, I'm all right, you've convinced me. Why, yes, I will be updating the description below to include Die Hard.
But that's also why the first 3 Harry Potter movies to me are great Christmas movies.
Right.
But 4 through 8...
they're so dark.
And there's not much hope in them.
There's no hope, yeah.
They lost all the hope.
So when I was listening to you read that Twitter thread, I guess this is the goth in me, or I don't know. But I immediately started thinking about how we do family funerals, because one of the big things is after the family funeral, you go back to their house and we open up the chest with the Christmas ornaments. That's a part of
And then what do you do with it? Do you put up?
We spread them out. We pass them out. What was your favorite ornament that Grandma had on the tree?
That has literally never occurred to me as part of the grieving process is while y'all are all gathered here to say goodbye, everybody get the redistribute the Christmas ornaments.
Hold on. Yeah. Yes, you have, but in a different perspective.
What?
For you, it's the cookbooks. When someone dies,
the answer is I get all.
It's you
I
divide
get pick. Period. No. Yes. No. That's the answer. No.
We do that with the cookbooks too, but like when I was probably about 16, I think, my grandma Smith died. And I remember like everybody, we were all so happy because she always made these pipe cleaner ornaments that were like pipe cleaners, those like 3-pointed like little beads that you can get everywhere that like fit into each other.
Yes.
And she would make these stars. And her tree was covered in these stars.
Oh, that sounds pretty.
And everybody wanted one of those. Because, like, when you think of Grandma's Christmas tree, right? Like,
Right.
that's what you think about. And,
Sure.
like, our Christmas tree in the other room has, like, no ornaments on it, but one of those stars. Like, because we just didn't feel like putting ornaments out this year. Like, a big Christmas felt weird for us, but we still got that out.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I mean, that makes sense. Like, I have plenty of ornaments that are special to me, but I don't necessarily expect them to be special to anyone else. I have one ornament that's one of my prized ornaments, and it is an underdressed Santa Claus on a St. Andrew's cross made out of candy canes.
It's really good.
It's a really high quality ornament.
It's heavy, though.
It's heavy, so it goes at the top. But it's special to me. I do not expect this to be special to anyone else. And so, yeah, I expect when I die, like, nobody's going to want it. It's going to end up in Goodwill or something, because who would want this? Just Glory and her crazy sense of humor. We do rotate the tree, though, when children come over to see. Why Santa got a ball gag? Well,
just to address one of the religious things that you brought up, like, this has been one of the biggest arguments in Christianity since Christianity stopped being Judaism.
Right.
Is which holiday is more important, Christmas or Easter?
Mm-hmm.
And this, I mean, so many of the earliest schisms come from this. Like, most of the Gnostic debate that you hear talk about, because there was no religion ever called Gnosticism. Gnosticism is not a thing. Gnosticism is something that academics came up with to talk about a very wide group of people in one simplified term. But most of those debates, like the argument between Valentinus and the church, was Valentinus said that Christmas was the most important holiday because God came into the world, light came into darkness. And the gentleman that he was basically running against to be pope said, no, it's the sacrifice that matters. And Valentinus came back with, but if it wasn't for birth, there'd be no death. And like,
it was a chicken or egg conversation.
Yeah. And so they, settled this the way they always do. They elected the other guy pope and kicked the other guy out of the church. But
like they do.
Like they do. Yeah.
But this has been a long-running debate, and it's something that we see get exacerbated after the Black Death, where the world itself became seen as a living horror. Like, it's hard for us to even imagine what it must have been like living back then. I mean, what was it? Like a quarter of Europe died?
Yeah,
actually, it might be more. It might be closer to 30 or even 33%. A third of Europe died.
Everybody knew somebody.
It was an incredible amount.
Yeah. So everybody knew somebody, if not a bunch of somebodies, that were destroyed by this. And it changed the way we think, we as a society, as a culture, talk about everything. Mm-hmm. But one of the most interesting parts of this is where we see Christmas, most of the Christmas traditions that we think about today come into being. It was literally in that darkness that we see in Germany this propping up, and in a lot of the German-speaking and Scandinavian countries, of St. Nicholas, who, by the way, is Turkish. He has nothing to do with Northern England. He was a Turkish saint. But there's the story of him
not English. I mean, St. George is also from the Eastern Mediterranean.
Yeah. And there's so many stories about him helping people and giving gifts, and that he would sneak money into people's houses. And since his feast day is near Christmas, people started giving gifts on St. Nicholas Day. And you see, this is when the Yule log starts becoming an important part of the English tradition. And the Christmas tree, as we know it, start coming into being in Europe, especially in Germany. It was really a very strong German tradition that was adopted whole hog by Luther and the Lutherans because it didn't have any of that dirty Catholic iconography on it. So they really embraced it. But you see this reaction, and this is, to me, is what Christmas should be to most people. And it's exactly what Tom was saying. In this darkest moment, we had this holiday, and we went, let's find all of the things to celebrate. Let's find all of the things to bring joy. Look, this is the time when food is scarcest. You go back in the day when like people aren't going to the supermarket, like whatever's in your larder is what you have until this first harvest starts coming in, right? But no, we're going to throw a feast on this darkest day because we're going to defy the dark. And you see that spirit really coming back as a defiance against all of the gloom that was just devouring Europe.
Well, I think also it's Christmas where it's timed along with solstice, with the winter solstice, is the end of the abundance of food. And everyone knows what happens later in the winter. That's when things get very scarce. They get meager. People start eating the things they don't want to eat. And eventually they don't even have that option necessarily, depending on the year. And so it's like, let's have our last feast before we have to tighten our belt and before we essentially have to ration until mid-spring. Because early spring is actually the hunger season, is what I recall. That lovely historian who always gets so excited about depressing things. Really, he starts foaming. I love it when the British get so excited they start spittling a little bit. That's how I know they mean it.
He's the counterpart. He is the counterpart to Sister Wendy.
Yes. Maybe they're related. Who knows? British. But, he talked about the hunger season, which is early spring when there really is nothing to eat. But it's no longer as cold. And so you're eating grass at that point, if you can even find it. You're eating shoots, if you can even find that. And so Christmas is that last hurrah of the year of I think if anything, it's maybe trying to stave off the depression, obviously the seasonal depression, as well as the sort of, well, this life sucks depression. And that's actually why I love celebrating Christmas too, is it is this moment where both adults and children are allowed to be joyful no matter what is happening, like the rolling trash fire that is 2020. Nobody has looked at me twice for the fact that I dipped into a little bit of our savings to buy some Christmas goodies this year so that we would not feel deprived, as well as being deprived of human contact all year. And so nobody thought twice of it. They're like, no, of course she bought a little sparkling wine. And we have, and yes, we do have a spiral hand.
Kirk Cameron would be so happy.
Turkey already. But yes, that, and then, honestly, he's going to hamify this smoked chicken that he's smoking right now. And so nobody has thought twice of it. In fact, everybody's asked, what's your menu? Tell me all about it. And I love to tell, okay, this is what we're going to eat, and this is what we're going to drink. And it's going to be a very boozy Christmas this year, just for the record. I love that. I love it's a celebration before winter where, this winter, no people and the weather being all miserable, everything turns brown in the South for winter. It's not pretty and white. It's just brown and dead and horrible and crunchy, the worst kind of crunchy. It's dry grass crunchy. So there's also a minor fire danger again every January. And that's winter here. And so it's let's celebrate. I absolutely love bringing in greenery. And one day I know I will be wealthy when I'm able to bring in live greenery for Christmas and have live green boughs and maybe a live tree, or at least a potted tree that let's be honest, is it going to be a potted tree? No, it's going to be a potted rosemary bush that I have been cultivating into this enormous topiary monstrosity, because I want to just be able to rub it all the time with my hands and then smell my hands like that person.
I think I know what our next Christmas tree is going to be.
Yes. Well, I used to have a small one. And when I say small, the tree was, and it was in a big pot. And I used to decorate with little mini ornaments outside. It was lovely. Anyway. But it smelled so nice every time I walked by, and it makes me happy every time I smell any of the greenery, any of the evergreen stuff. It makes me happy versus the rest of everything looking brown and dead. So I absolutely love this part of the tradition.
Hey, Glory.
Yes.
Eva had a quick question. So what do you fix for your holiday dinners that everyone expects when you show up?
What do you like in general? What should people fix, or what?
No, what are your go-tos that people look forward to? That you
Okay,
make?
you have to have rolls. You have to have good rolls, as good as you can get. And if all you can get is store-bought Hawaiian, go for it.
Or
Everybody,
Sister Schubert.
But Sister Schubert, the Hawaiian roll is a little bit sweeter, and people like that. I'm just saying. So if you're doing Sister Schubert, at least make honey butter or cinnamon honey butter. Which, let me tell you, if you have cinnamon butter, people will love you forever and laud your name. I'm just throwing that out there. So, yes, you could get away without getting Hawaiian if you get even lesser rolls, like maybe the store's out of all the good stuff. And if you just add cinnamon and maybe a little honey to your softened butter and then stir it, you do not even have to whip it. You just stir it, and it better just taste nice on your tongue. People will laud your name all next year. This is truth. I've done it. So you do have to have some sort of roll and butter. And, honestly, with vegetables, I like carrots, like where you add orange juice or honey and some things. There's broccoli options. Everybody's talking about roasted broccoli this year, but it's like, what will you eat, though? I'm just going to be honest. What will you eat? Tom has this lovely, so I used to like green beans with ham or bacon and some onion and maybe potato. It's very Southern dish. And Tom has come up with this jacked up, version of it where he dices onion, puts it in the pot, and with the green beans in the water, no draining or anything, and some butter, and then he adds liquid smoke.
And a lot of salt.
And, it is as trashy it could possibly be, but I've never had a complaint from anybody yet. So it's sort of like, what do you want?
And part of the reason there's a lot of salt is because not a lot of it's actually going to get into the green bean. We're just making a broth for it to cook in. Once you take it out of this broth, it's not going to be nearly as strong.
Right.
So it looks like swamp water.
Oh, it does.
But,
swamp water
it
with
looks brackish.
A film of butter on it.
Yeah. But once you take it out, so it's just the green beans and maybe potatoes and onion.
Right.
It doesn't have nearly as strong a flavor, but it's nicely flavored.
It is nicely flavored. But I would honestly suggest if you can afford a smoked meat, you should definitely go with a smoked meat, whether it's smoked turkey, smoked ham. One day I hope to be able to afford prime rib. But again, that's right up there with the greenery in the house, the live greens that I don't have yet. So one day. But if you can't afford even smoked chicken, people will be happy with that. They will be very happy. If the chicken seems dry or the turkey seems dry, you make a gravy. The gravy does not have to be smoked. Although I'm just saying, you could add liquid smoke. Tom has done this a couple times, and while I was on the fence before, afterwards I'm like, this actually works. So smoked gravy is a fascinating thing, and it is actually delicious. You just add enough liquid smoke to taste. That's all. To your normal gravies. It's really, so the way human psychology goes, okay, and this is the truth, people only remember the beginning and the end of an event or an interaction or a visit. So all you have to worry about is the roll and maybe, I don't know, whatever salad or something, the appetizer you want to start with. The appetizers and rolls, hot rolls, always have to be hot.
Yep.
And then how you end, i.e. the desserts. And I'm going to be honest, in the South, you can get away with a lot of Cool Whip desserts, as I think of them. Cool Whip dessert will get you so far in this life.
On how many families are showing up, there will be number of families plus one ambrosias on every Christmas table, because every family will bring at least one. If they don't have two, because the husband and wife have a difference of, like, we're talking about, like, there have been religious wars fought over less than people's beliefs about ambrosia.
Okay, quick ambrosia recipe. I hope you have this on your bingo if somebody shares a recipe. Here we go. You take canned fruit, preferably not the kind with Splenda in it. I know, so controversial yet so brave. No, don't do Splenda. Don't do Splenda or in water because that means it has Splenda. No, just go with extra light syrup and just call it a day. You could go the traditional route with the one with the cherries in it. But the one I'm going to honestly recommend is the tropical fruit one. Del Monte, I think, is the one that makes it, isn't it, Tom? Do you remember? No, yeah, Charlie knows. Okay. You're going to take 1 to 2 cans, maybe 3 or 4. It depends on how many people you have coming. You're going to add to the bowl with the undrained fruit. You're going to add, peach schnapps. I know. Who am I? I'm crazy.
Peach schnapps makes everything better.
Yes, it does.
It does.
It also helps appease ghosts when they've gotten upset at your house.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
We'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah. It does help if you are being haunted by distant, ancestors. Peach schnapps will satisfy a lot of ghosts. So, you're going to add to that the desiccated sweetened coconut. And this is so sweet. Like, trust me, somebody's going to need insulin for this. So, and then you're going to let that soak for a little while. If you cannot let it soak, you can microwave it for 2 minutes till it warms up. And then just like gently fold it again so that the coconut will absorb a little. The fruit will absorb a little. Okay. And then honestly, what do you have to add beyond that? You could just literally fold it in Cool Whip. You could. Before you fold in the coconut, before you fold in the Cool Whip, you could add a little sweet condensed milk and let it sit overnight, covered in the fridge. And for some reason, the fruit will not only absorb some of the peach schnapps, but it will also absorb some of the sweet and condensed milk. I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on. And you then, the next day, you add chopped toasted pecans or any nut. I have actually had it with peanuts. It's really pretty good, actually, with peanuts. And you fold in the Cool Whip right before you serve. And people are going to say, this is amazing. She must have been slaving at it. You just nod and say thank you, and you're done. So I'm not saying that it's a high-class dessert. I'm not claiming this. I would never claim this. But you could claim this. You could claim that you read this in the New York Times somewhere. But you think it's behind a paywall now. Yeah. I've heard taller tales at church potlucks, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard some crazy stuff. But I am saying that you can do that and everybody will be happy. Even if you're not a baker, you don't even have a good bakery in town to get from, or it's the last minute party or whatever. You just need to end on a good dessert that people enjoy eating. And even picky eaters seem to enjoy ambrosia, but they enjoy it more when you spike it. So, don't do whiskey. Everyone can taste that. But peach schnapps, they're just like, oh, this is delicious. There must be peaches in it. You go, And every time they point it at papaya, you just go, maybe that's a peach. I'm not sure anymore. Everything's covered. And you just act stupid if you don't. I don't know. What is that? And you just move on. Change the subject to, family. So you just need to end. You start on a high note, and you need to end on a high note, and then you hand them their coat, and bye-bye. That is my trashy hospitality right there.
We are not doing anything traditional for Christmas dinner this year. The hubby came running into the room the other day and just went, "Do you want me to make sushi for Christmas?"
That sounds delicious.
And I went,
so good.
Yes, please. So we're gonna
What we normally do for Christmas is we honestly go to a Chinese buffet, and then we go to whatever blockbuster movie is at the movie theater. We go to the really nice movie theater where you can get you can reserve your own chairs. So you're not, trying to get there early to get the best seat. No, this is my chair. I literally have a ticket. This is my seat. And everything, it's like the best lazy boys, everything is, and it's wonderful. And that's what we normally do. We will not be doing this year. So, we're going to eat lots of goodies and, chocolate and stuff, and, get really boozed up. And, and Tom got at the local butcher shop, they had chicken and cornbread casseroles, which are the best commercial version I've ever had. And so that's what we're doing. And of course, with the bread that we make and the pimento cheese.
I do have to say, I think this year we always talk about how this year is going to affect the culture. I think this is going to be a major found family holiday in a way that we've not had before, because you don't have to talk to that crazy uncle or aunt that would normally be around, because you don't have to this year. Like, you can find a way out of the Zoom call and just like call in later and talk to the people that you do want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, those forced relations that are not going to be forced upon us this year if we don't want them. And that's going to have a major effect on how we as a society do move forward from this. I really do think that we're going to change a lot. Because once you realize, oh wait, we can have a holiday without stress because Aunt Karen isn't there. Really?
Oh God, like that would be such a huge improvement.
I think like it is socially liberating to not have to socialize with the parts of your family that you really do not enjoy, or if anything, are borderline abusive. I think it is like incredibly liberating, and I'm glad some people are getting this experience.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, I know a lot of people do not feel that way about their family, and I like go, oh, what must that be like? Like, they might as well be in a zoo so I could like watch this exhibit. I am always fascinated by people who at least claim to genuinely enjoy the company of their family. And I'm like, can I go to your family holiday? I want to watch this in person. And I have literally invited myself to think, like, I mean, that way I've asked myself an invite in to go watch this because it always seems like there's like that uncomfortable tension. And yet people don't seem to want to acknowledge that some people have some family members who make them very unhappy.
Well, this is
like,
really one of those 1950s problems.
In a like abusive way. Not like, look, there's some people that is like, meh, you know, but that's not making me unhappy. I just don't care for that.
This is really one of those 1950s problems that, again, one of the things I love about Christmas movies is how they've just rejected that nuclear family. Like, no, family is the people you meet along the way. Family is, you know.
Is it me? No, it's Charlie.
Charlie, I think you glitched there for a minute.
Yeah, you sort of like your voice kind of came robotic, and there was missing dropped words. Try talking, bud.
Am I back now?
Yeah.
You are. Yeah, it seems like you're back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about family, and then it all went for like a solid 20 seconds. It was a good 20 seconds, I'm assuming.
So what I was saying is, this to me is one of the things that modern, especially a lot of the modern holiday movies have really done well, is they've just dropped this 1950s nuclear family crap where we have to get together because we have to get together. It is mandated by the gods. It is crap that has come into the culture from the Reconstruction that took place after women learned, hey, I can do stuff outside the house. Like, a lot of the problems that we have in our family relations come from this Reconstruction period. And there's so many, like, I mean, there's no, like, in our house, like, the first and the last Christmas movie that gets watched every year is Elf. And that is as found family as a found family movie can be, because even when he goes back to meet his birth dad, there's not this immediate magical connection because, you know, I see you, you know, no, it's he has to discover how he fits into the family. The family has to discover how they're going to associate with him.
Right. And
they actually have to get to know each other in the way that a found family would. And I love that idea is getting just impressed into this holiday more and more and more, because, you know, there are people that are forced to be in our life because of our blood ties, and they're not forced to be in our life. If you don't need them, if they're not good for you, bye. You know, and that's something that the queer community has practiced because out of necessity, forever. You know, whether we were the ones kicked out or whether we were the ones that just went, no, I'm not going to be around that toxicity anymore. And I'm loving seeing this idea be embraced, but that in such a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
In so many of the newer, Christmas movies that I've seen, be it from like Guardians, what is it? Rise of the Guardians, which is like my favorite new Christmas movie of like all time, where like all the fairy tale creatures are coming together to save the world. Like, it's all about that, like finding the people that need to be in your life and celebrating together, finding that hope and joy, and realizing we don't have to bring along that baggage. Like, what could be a more Christmas message? Like, oh, honey, your luggage, about, go.
Right there with the New Year's song of, leave the old, pick up something new. What is it you want to carry with you?
I love the kind of like sub Christmas, like Christmas genre is already a sub, but a sub genre where over Christmas people find newfound family to celebrate and to feel support from and to support others. Like, I love it. So like aside from pretty much, it seems like every Christmas story that's really successful has an element of a loss of hope and then hope refound or regained. And that is like really important. If you don't have it, is it really a proper Christmas story, or is it just set at Christmas and it's a shitty story? Or, because you can have horror in this, you could have suspense, you could have espionage, you can have any sort of other genre in there, but you need to have lost hope and then refound hope or regained hope.
And so, like, what makes Die Hard a Christmas movie. But Christmas with the Cranks, even though it has the word Christmas in it, is not a Christmas movie. It just has the word Christmas in it. It happens to be set during the Christmas movie.
Yeah.
That's
why I don't consider setting a movie during a Christmas time to qualify it as a Christmas movie.
I mean, that's why I put it under the bonus movies. Was like, it's so mediocre, you'll be inspired to write a better version.
Because you have to wonder, like, how much did all of the writers, producers, and people involved in that hate their family to think that that's what a Christmas movie should be? Like, because it's all about our neighbors are awful and are essentially a cult. We're just terrible people, and we're just going to do terrible, terrible things. Haha, Christmas. No. Like, for goodness sakes, even the National Lampoon's Christmas movie found a way to be a Christmas movie. And that's just an excuse to watch Chevy Chase look at scantily clad women so that your dad doesn't feel weird and your mom goes, hey, it's a National Lampoon's movie, and just lets it happen. And even they found a way to make a Christmas movie.
I love it for, the, I can't remember, is it that one or like another one that has the super Teflon spray?
That's that one. That's the, that's
National I love it for Christmas. The super Teflon and the, why you don't dump refuse down a storm drain.
Yeah.
They really do make a lot of bad choices in all the National Lampoon's movies. It's warming.
But in a movie, in a movie franchise that's all about how family is just stupid, right? I mean, let's face it. All the movies before that and all the movies after that are like, here's why family is terrible. Yeah. They actually made a Christmas movie in the middle of this where they're like, no, here's why family matters and what kind of family matters and what it actually means to be family. Mm-hmm. And like, it's a great example of what a Christmas movie is, because it's all about that losing hope, because it's not about the swimming pool. Like, the plot of the movie is, I thought we were going to have money for a swimming pool and now we don't, right? And that's the Christmas with the Cranks plot, right? Mm-hmm. We thought we were going to go on a great vacation, but we can't. The thing that makes these, because they're essentially the same movie, right? Except in the other one, we get to see the kids and how the generations relate to each other, and see them coming together to support each other, even when there's no reason to. Like, they're just there. They lose hope. They find hope. They have something from it, instead of, oh, can we hurry up and steal somebody's Santa to have on the roof so our daughter doesn't despise us?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, because I love her, I want her to
No.
have the things that she most looks forward to about Christmas. It was, I don't want her to hate me. This is like essentially a negative versus a positive.
It was also very just narcissistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want her to like me. Like, well, that's not how you get people to like you. You get people to like you with compassion and love, and also, being there for them when they really need you, which is not necessarily the holidays, but it can be depending on the person. It's when they need someone else, because otherwise they'll be sad. But, so that was like what we were getting at with Christmas stories, because we've seen too many. I do want to point out a quick mention about the reason Santa Claus is coming to town under the bonus is because of all the pedo subtext. Like, all you need if you want a toy is give me a kiss on the cheek and come sit on my lap. These kind of lyrics, as well as, yes, it's in Somber Town or Sober Town or what. But there's a whole bunch of like pedo grooming going on in this movie. It's very cringy. It's very 70s. People don't realize that the 70s were truly the golden age of NAMBLA.
Yeah.
Because growing up in the 80s in Mississippi was very much when the NAMBLA vans used to roam, looking for children. And so that is why that, unlike most of the other Rankin and Bass, is like picked out as on the bonus of like, if you'd like to see how not to do it, here you go. But from my childhood, and I believe Charlie's too, because Charlie barely a whippersnapper older than me. Practically sisters. Anyway, practically pointlessly gendered relatives. There we go.
Yes.
I almost got rid of this, and then
No, I love it too
in
much.
Sage's chat, it was during karaoke yesterday. I kept trying to use the emotes, and it kept putting male and female symbols after them for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, even in chat, why are you gendering me?
Because it is pointlessly gendered. Yes, I agree.
So I loved it.
But yes, I do. Anyway, I do love it. But like, there were back then, like, and I've watched a whole bunch of really terrible Christmas specials, particularly this year, because we have a whole folder. And there are the 70s were an age when it's like, why is every Christmas special a little bit pedo? A little bit grooming children to be more open to sexual predators. Why is this way? So I'm just saying, don't put that in. Don't groom children. Even though your readers are probably not children, don't groom your childlike characters for sexual predators, and you'll be halfway there. But so we did want to talk about just the negative. We wanted to talk about what actually works in Christmas stories that people want to read again and again. And, it really does have to do with hope. It has to do with compassion.
It's why we read them. It's why we watch them, is we want to feel that hope at the end. We want to feel revived.
Yeah, I need to be taken on this roller coaster, and at the end, my prize for doing it is hope, and to feel more compassion, both about myself and about my fellow, human beings. That's what I want as the prize at the end of this Christmas roller coaster.
I mean, let's be honest. The real gospel of modern American Christmas is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens.
Yes.
This is the basic model that all good Christmas movies fall under. You have people that are having a disagreement. There's a complete loss of hope as a result of that. And then this miraculous change, and everything is either fixed or on the road to recovery or something at the end. That's why there are 5 million versions of A Christmas Carol. Like everybody and their cousin has done one or two of them. Like every franchise has a version of the Christmas Carol.
I think we figured out that just on our folder we have 8 different versions of A Christmas Carol between all the specials, the cartoons, and the movies. And that's not all of them. It's just what we have amassed. Because I'm like, Tom, I want them all. It's like Hamlet.
Well, that we enjoy.
I want all of them.
Oh, come on, that we enjoy. I mean,
I want the whatever. What's his name, Alistair? I want all of them. Yes, I agree, but I want that redemption of spirit.
Yeah.
I want a redemption arc. I want to feel good about it. So last night we watched Christmas on the Square, which is on Netflix, and we talked about like the redemption arc for the Scrooged character. Christine Baranski is so good.
I mean, I do love her as an actress. Like, she is really good.
Yes.
I mean,
she is awesome.
I definitely had problems with the movie, but I appreciated the excellent casting. Everyone who was cast to sing could actually sing.
What a concept.
And so it was fun to hear all of them sing. You could definitely tell like this is the first real musical that Dolly Parton had tried to write.
Like
the musical numbers for. And so it was, So I'm looking forward to next year, the year after, when she does better, because I mean, she is so smart. I believe she will learn a lot from this one, and the next one will be much better.
We always have. The first, I wouldn't say retail cassettes I ever bought. They were at the first Dollar Tree I ever visited in Memphis. But the first 2 cassettes I bought with my own money for me, not given as gifts to me, was one cassette with Tony Bennett, the best of Tony Bennett, and another one was one of the best of Dolly Parton. And I bought it because it had Jolene on it, and I knew I liked Jolene. And we have always loved Dolly's voice. Even these were truly like C-rate songs of Dolly's. These were definitely the backlist. And we still loved listening to her voice, even though we're like, these songs, okay. But as kids, like, we loved them. We love Dolly. It's just like the songs where she sings herself are very good. They're Dolly Parton quality songs. It's just there's like I think 1 or 2 group songs where it's like a whole church of people singing, but like as individual people, not like the choir, and it didn't quite work. And that's all. It's not like it was bad. It was not. Oh, we heard worse.
Yeah, but it was the early ones where they're more performative, where there's supposed to be choreography to go with it. And I'm wondering if like she probably just wrote these ahead of time and they didn't have a chance to rewrite and change the lyrics and stuff. So that the choreography and the song better suited each other. Type deal of it takes experience.
Right.
Versus she loves Les Mis. I have no question. There is some strong what's his name? Who did the musical?
Sondheim?
Yeah, there's some strong Sondheim influence in these songs.
Yeah, like I love like they have in the Christmas on the Square, there is this found family trope in there. And it's really more like a refound family. And it really did work. I was surprised that I was enjoying it because so many times I see it and I'm like, no, that's not how found family works.
But I know exactly what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
That wasn't a scoff of judgment at you. It was at all the films that came through my mind that do it badly. Yes.
Yeah, you can tell when someone's never needed to find a family that they've always been surrounded by lovely, supportive people. So when they try to then write the found family trope, they're just absolutely shite at it. Yes. No, this is not like that. This actually
having a bunch of best friends.
We're friends. It's all great. And it's like, it's not exactly like that. It's close. It's like you've heard about baseball, but you've never actually watched a game. It's sort of that. You've heard how baseball is, and quite frankly, what you're portraying is something closer to a portrayal of basketball and cricket had a baby, and not actual baseball. So,
I'm sorry, I have to create the sport now. I'm sorry, I'm adding this to my to-do.
You go for it, baby. You do it. Make your note.
Don't accidentally make basketball though.
Yes.
Oh no.
No. But it actually worked out well. We also watched Jingle Jangle, which again did follow the regular tropes they're supposed to. And overall, it does work. There's a couple issues. One of them was technical, had to do with the editing. It was so slow. That first half hour really made me not want to finish it. And there's Tom going, please, Corey, just do something else while you let it play. And then at 30 minutes in, it picked up. And actually, that's really where the movie should have started. And then they just did flashbacks. But, whatever.
Don't forget my hot take.
Yes, that's my hot take.
No. I mean, the part of it's a rejected Doctor Who script.
Tom thinks it's a rejected Doctor Who script, and I'm like, you're not necessarily wrong because. Okay, so here's my theory about Jingle Jangle. It's also on Netflix. Is this an Afrofuturism dystopian world? Because, like, I can't quite tell. It really seems like it could be either placed in Britain or in Africa, like post-nuclear apocalypse. It has all the things you expect from like a post-nuclear winter where you have a lot
after Wakanda fell.
I mean, kind of a little. Like, have you watched it, Charlie?
I've not watched it yet. It's on my list, but
you should definitely watch it.
I was afraid.
And as I said, like, if you feel that the first 20 minutes or so, like, especially minute 10 to minute 20 is like, why is this so slow? The first act is supposed to pick up. Just skip to 30 minutes in when the granddaughter shows up, and then that movie then picks up, and it's fun to watch. But here was my theory. It seemed like this is post-nuclear winter where you are expecting a certain loss of technology. Hence, they've rolled back the technology abilities to more mechanical functioning. And for whatever reason, maybe because it's so cold, they've also rolled back the fashions to more layers, more, little Ice Age. It felt a little of like, and I did ask Tom, is this an Afro-futuristic kind of story of like, is this Africa after the nuclear winter? It seems kind of, anyway, not that I'm saying it's a bad thing. I love the costumes. I love the production value. I loved it all. I did have a weird little, why is the two songs that the main character, Forrest Whitaker's character, Geronicus, has with his daughter, I can't remember her name, his grown daughter, the songs, if you listen to the lyrics, it's like, this does not sound like father-daughter lyrics. This sounds like romantic lyrics. Ew.
Because of the flaw of American society where we've confused these two things with, like, those weird father-daughter dances and the weird father-daughter promise rings and all of that weirdness. Like, that is a problem deeply rooted in the heart and soul of America.
Okay, because like I kind of wondered if this story originally, that female character was supposed to be his wife who left, his estranged wife, who they, rather than his daughter. And then they were like, well, Forrest Whitaker's a little old to be playing her love interest, so we're going to make it father-daughter. Because it just seemed like there was hardly anything in the dialogue or the lyrics to really tell you, other than when they just literally say, oh no, this is his daughter. This is his grown daughter. There's really nothing to give a hint about this. It could just as easily have been his estranged wife, quite frankly.
Daddy's little girl is one of the worst tropes that we have in American cinema and fiction right now.
Yeah.
It gives me kind of a cringe.
Yeah.
But that said, it's only like 2 songs. It's not most of the film at all, because she doesn't show up as an adult till much, much later in the movie.
I mean, it's a fun production. Like,
it's gorgeous. It's fun. The kids, these kids are great. The best casting I've ever seen. It's so great. The puppeting is great, or CGI, or whatever they used. I don't know. And of course, Keegan-Michael Key brings it. He is a wonderful, mild villain. It's wonderful. Great. Highly recommend. And they did follow the hope trope. Do you have that on your bingo card? I'm just saying the hope trope is there. And it did work, and it is available on Netflix. It is a high production value film, and you can take a lot from it because these are 2 very different genres of Christmas stories about how to do it. Like I'm gonna tell you the truth. My personal favorite Christmas story genre is always the Christmas cowboy angel one. I know it's crazy, but you know what? I was a child when I first watched it, and I like it. What is it? One Magic Christmas? Look,
yeah.
I cannot stop. I know it's a real shitty movie. I can't stop myself. I'm I don't care how bad it is, and I don't care. It's so bad, it's good, is my opinion. I'm not going to apologize for. Mary Steenburgen is awesome as well. Oh, I love it every time she gets shrill. Every time she's like, we don't have the money. Stop dreaming. And I'm like, yes, I feel this. I just want to yell at myself in my dark moments. And that poor little girl. Why will DHS not come for this girl? I know. But here's what I'm saying about all these mediocre Christmas movies. That means there is room for you to write a better one. Pick whatever you like. Just write a better one, or write one that's informed by your own personal experiences. And also, like, I love that Christmas, because of Dickens, incorporates the horror suspense into, like, oh, are you scared? Are you scared for the safety of the characters? Or are you scared even, like, maybe this monster will visit you? A monster for Christmas. Come on.
Because if you've never read the original Christmas Carol, like, if you just know it through adaptation,
no,
the ghosts are terrifying.
Oh, they are.
Like, they are some of the best written ghosts. Like, that's one of the best haunted stories I have ever read. I read it every year for Christmas. That's one of my Christmas traditions. Well, technically I don't reread it anymore because I have an audiobook read by Tim Curry, and that is a valid way to experience this because Tim Curry's glorious voice.
That sounds so
I
good.
actually heard, like, someone's Christmas tradition for the last several years is they get a new audiobook version of A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Read by a different author. Read by a different person.
I think it's wonderful.
And I looked on Audible, and oh my god, I did not know there were already that many versions.
Yes.
Real quick. Hey, Camille. Okay. Yes, I love that Christmas, which is normally supposed to be, it's a children's holiday. That's actually where it really turned around. See, Christmas used to be an adult holiday where everybody was drunk and there was raucousness and apparently a few orgies every year.
So drunk.
So drunk. So raucous.
So drunk they canceled Christmas for years.
Yes, they literally canceled it for years. And then they were like, heck no, bring back the old monarchy because it's better, because we need our raucousness. And then, the abolitionists, in a odd turn, were like, hey, Christmas is for children. And oddly enough, making Christmas for children and really starting to bring children into value in the early to mid 1800s really did forward the abolitionist agenda of anti-slavery, which is fantastic. So celebrating Christmas as a children's holiday is very anti-slavery. I am happy to do this. I am happy to keep subscribing to this agenda. And it's so controversial.
But that's why New Year's became the adult holiday.
And that's how New Year's then moved to become the new adult holiday, where the drinking really happens and the partying and the possible orgies. That's where, the bishop's geese or something. Look, I've got an entire book of the etymology of all sorts of inappropriate phrases. And I'm like, wait, what? I love the British. I love the British and the fact they are so rude. I mean, they try to be all proper and stiff upper lip. And these people are like walking adult stores of human beings. I love it. An entire island of them. It's fantastic. I absolutely adore this. But, I mean, of course, before I forget, I did want to mention there is a level of ableism in a lot of these Christmas stories. And it's not exactly that Dickens introduced it exactly as much as it was taken and they ran with it and turned it into ableism. So from the best I can recall, Dickens was really trying to point out of a lack of being able to afford health care.
Yeah.
Can mean that we lose these precious children who, truly are shining bright stars in a dark humanity. And that was all he was trying to point out. He was not going, oh, let's inspiration porn this poor little cripple. But it has then morphed into that because ableism forever, apparently. So I just want to point out, for anybody later watching, that to make sure that you're running your story by others to make sure, others who would be informed about ableism versus disability positive viewpoints, that you're not running into this. Why? Why would normal people have to worry about this? Because ableism is internalized. Even I have internalized. And look, if I've got it, I know all of y'all have it. It's contagious, y'all.
Because in the original story, this is one of the big turning points for Scrooge, is he couldn't understand how his actions hurt others. This is just the way of the world. And when the Ghost of Christmas Future takes him to Tiny Tim's grave and basically points out, you did this. You're directly responsible for this kid dying because of how you treated Bob Cratchit, and he couldn't afford to take care of the kid. Like, this is one of those moments where Scrooge has this moment of, I killed a child? Like, it's one of those moments that really puts a crack in him and starts bringing him out of that horrible curmudgeon that he is. That was the intent in the story, of just the shock of, what do you mean I killed a kid?
You killed a kid through your financial and economic neglect.
Right. And that has really morphed in a lot of stories. Yeah.
Yes,
because we don't want to talk about that, because we've become so pro hyper capitalism.
Right. That we don't want to in any way say that there may be a downside, a dark side to capitalism for those who are, truly doing the work necessary to support capitalism, and which are the basic workers.
And that part I did enjoy, that they brought up in the Dolly Parton Christmas on the Square part.
Bring this back.
Is that they brought up that, because she closed the, the pharmacy?
Camille's got it.
Yep.
That, she inadvertently, caused the death of, one of the people in town because they had to go drive to another town to go get meds because their 3-month-old had a fever, and then, had a car crash in the storm on the way back. Just because you think it's something simple and you could just make the machine more efficient will make everything better. No. Efficiency is not necessarily the most
humane approach.
Or just the most effective approach to a place.
Yeah, because let's be honest, that economy lost the productivity of this woman as well. It lost all of her social and economic contributions that she could have made. And it was simply because there was no local pharmacy. I mean, that is a human need, to have medicine readily available. And to not have that available, she had to go further afield, and there's more danger, when she had to go further afield.
And the same problem we see in a lot of capitalism, where if you make a system so efficient that there's no slack in the system, so that if a minimum wage worker has to stay home sick for a day, the entire system malfunctions for days or weeks afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's not actually efficient. That's not effective.
No.
And that is the problem we've gotten into, is this, if we just make it more efficient. No, efficiency is not the end-all be-all. Effectiveness. Total capability. Hence, that's where compassion comes in. If your system can't afford compassion, it's already broken.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like the power of this holiday that you see exemplified in so many of these stories, and why I wanted to start with that whole Kirk Cameron Saves Christmas BS. Because
that materialism, yes.
Yes, because this is like the basic dichotomy of the holiday. It is the most commercialized holiday. I mean, I know for us, like something around 30 to 40% of all the money we make at the restaurant all year is this season, is this month. And then we make some the rest of the year, but it's through Christmas parties. We also do gift baskets and stuff, and through gift cards and stuff like that. Like, the vast majority of our income comes from this month. So like, there is this huge commercial push, but so much of the stories are that fight of like, but you also need to be generous, because this is also the time period where most charities make the vast majority of their money, their operating budget for the year. Mm-hmm. And so it's really hard to get people to understand this. And they're really going through this in Northern Ireland right now, where they can't get Stormont to understand that if they close everything down, most small businesses are going to go out of business if they don't help them out, because they're going into another lockdown. Like, right. it is hard to explain how much the Christmas season means to a small business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's you see that in so many of these stories with like whether it's the Charlie Brown Christmas where it's the overly commercialized tree and everything, but no, we need to remember the true meaning of Christmas, because that's a trope in and of itself, and it's always fun to see how that gets played out in the story.
Yes.
Whether it's like with the Charlie Brown Christmas where it is Linus reading from the Bible at the end, or if it's just no, loving each other is the true meaning of the season, version of the trope, whichever that you get, that reminds us it's the one year where we collectively get together to remind ourselves maybe we shouldn't be dicks to each other all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's what Christmas is.
Why is Christmas the time period where nobody second guesses if I have a little gift for them? But if I have a little gift for anyone, whether it's someone I consider a friend or a coworker, people like will freaking cross-examine me. What is this for? Why did you give this to me? What do you know that I don't like? Can I not just give you a little happy? Can I not? I mean, like I used to make chapstick. I'm going to eventually make chapstick again. I love, lip balm. I mean, the stuff. And I would make these, and I would make my own little labels with the little ingredient. Oh, it's pretty. And I give it to people because I made, when I make it, it's a batch of 50 at a time. It's like a minimum full batch is 50. Yeah. So it's like, what am I do not have that many lips. So.
Or your lips could be permanently moist.
Oh, so dude. Let me see. Hold up. This little baby, I'm not going to tell you how many years old it is. I love it. I put it on multiple times a day. I still have some. Apparently, I just don't know how to put on lip balm because I'm not going through one a month. And I'm really trying to use this up. But so then I have a lovely excuse to make my lip balm.
That's why they make lip balms flavored now. So you go,
It is flavored.
Oh no, Gloria's are all flavored.
All of mine are like heavily flavored. Yeah. This is soothing winter lip balm. Yeah. Oh yes. This was Christmas and clementine flavored. So it's like the juniper-y with clementine in it. It's like it's lovely. But like my point just being like I try to give people lip balms in the summertime, spring, autumn, and like I would put in a cute little baggie, maybe a little bow on it, something just to like, hey, thank you for working with me, or thank you for my friend. I just want you to know I appreciate you. And here's this little like truly it is premium lip balm that I make. I make the good stuff. But I wanted to give them a look at what? Why? Oh, I didn't get you anything. Is there a holiday I don't remember? Do we have an anniversary of our friendship? Like, no, can I not just give you something? But at Christmas, it's nobody questions. They're like, oh, thank you. I will deliver yours later. I will deliver yours probably tomorrow. Camille and I live in the same town, y'all.
But that's the importance of this holiday, especially in
our people an excuse.
Yes.
They can do this gift exchange.
And just think about that for a minute. Our culture is so broken that we desperately need. Like, why do you think people look forward to Christmas and Christmas starts earlier and earlier and earlier every year? It's not because, oh, we need everything to be white and red, or, oh, we need to hear all them jingle bells jingling in every song because you just put jingle bells in it and it's a Christmas song, Mariah Carey. I'm looking at you. It's not what makes a Christmas. Anyway.
Eva, do I need to make you some lip balm instead of crochet? Because I may have. Okay. Anyway, we will talk about.
I'm sorry. She just released a Christmas special that's basically here's Mariah Carey's greatest hits with jingle bells in the background, and I'm like, that's not how Christmas music works. But a whole other episode. But like the reason people want it to start sooner and sooner is because now, oh, did you hear the Christmas carols out at the store? I can be nice to you without you suspecting some ulterior motive from me.
Why can't we just be nice to each other all year without needing an excuse? Could somebody please write some Christmas stories about this? Because I cannot write all of them, my darlings. Yeah.
I mean, and it was literally at the end of A Christmas Carol. Scrooge held Christmas in his heart all year round.
Yes.
And yet we are still like it is about 200 years later. We are still needing Christmas as an excuse to be kind and generous with each other rather than all year round. I mean, honestly, So a couple times I've given people gifts with Christmas stuff that it was not at Christmas time, like spring, because for whatever the reason, I did not have appropriate little wrapping or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, is it Christmas in April?" And I'm like, "Sure," because I had no idea that I could get away with that. But yeah, if you put Christmas wrapping on lip balm and you give it to people in the summer, they're okay with it because it's okay if it's
Christmas in
like,
July.
Yes, it's Christmas. I've literally had people, "Oh, is it Christmas in July? Oh, lovely. Thank you so much." And I get a big old hug, which again, was not looking for. I just wanted to like give a token of how much I appreciate a person. And also I have so many lip balm tubes. I've got
And I blame the 70s and 80s for this because I grew up in it. Like when you hear like that was the me generation. Oh no, that was the me generation. That's when our culture took this really hard shift into, well, if it's not good for me, then I don't care. If I don't agree, then of course it's obviously not true. You know, that shift really took place in the 70s and 80s, and we're reaping the rewards of it now. But that's why Christmas becomes such an important thing, because it's the only time that we have agreed as a culture, hey, well, you can be nice to people just cause, and you don't get like the weird side eye.
Yeah, it is the thing that, I mean, I'm grateful we have this season at all.
Yeah.
To be generous and kind with people. Like nobody has like questioned me about, well, why are you giving away so much stuff? Oh, by the way, I forgot to put this one on. This is Tom's original design for an acorn hat, and I think it is super cute, y'all. And it is one of the options.
That's it.
And nobody's questioning, like, why are you giving stuff away this month? And I'm like, because they just assume, oh, it's Christmas. That's why, like, no, y'all. Look, if I could, I would do it all year round. But people get funny about giving stuff away. Like, oh, they must have ulterior motives. Like, why can I not just enjoy giving stuff and getting it out of my house so that I am not surrounded by all my crafts that I've made? Why can't I give them to other people? And then you could give them to someone else. Wouldn't that be lovely if we just kept giving things?
I say crafts are like vegetable gardens. You accumulate really quick
while you're gone.
But like, this is the moral of every Christmas story. When you get to the end, the Grinch's heart didn't grow 3 sizes just for a season, shrink back down so we can do it all again next year, right? Mm-hmm. The Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that night, right? Maybe Christmas isn't something that you get in a box. Maybe it's actually being nice to each other and kind to each other. Like, this is the moral of the story. For goodness sakes, even in Die Hard, just to get back to that, right?
Yes, let's come back to Die Hard again.
Like, John McClane learns that he can take care of people, that he's not the reckless, hateful person that his wife thinks that he is. She starts to see him as somebody who actually is looking out for their best interest. He actually tries to negotiate. He tries to do the right thing. He's overlooked for all of it, and he becomes a better person. And they make sequels and ruin like all the personal growth that he got in the first movie because, they needed sequels. But there's only one Die Hard movie. I'm sorry. The others don't exist. Because it's such a good ending.
Mm-hmm.
You see him grow. It's one man fighting his own toxic masculinity to figure out how he can be a valid, helpful member of his own family.
I mean, I am for all the Christmas stories where people fight their own toxic masculinity to become a better person. Like, yes, this is what I'm here to sign up for. Where's the sign-up sheet? This is what I want. I want to watch people struggle through getting beyond their assholery into finding the warm, comfortable center of themselves.
Because a friend of mine,
one of the things I liked about the, what's his name, Jim Carrey Grinch movie, yes, you see that the Grinch hates Christmas and how bad this Grinch is modern, but you also find out it's a lot of these townspeople that made the Grinch, what the Grinch grown up to be.
Let's be honest, it takes a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village to make a monster.
Yeah.
Let's be really brutally. Let's take a page or a book from Terry Pratchett on this one. It takes a whole Discworld to make a monster, and it takes a village to reclaim their monster and put them at the center and say, "Don't touch our monster." But it is something that we're capable of. It's something that we as human beings are capable of. We can reclaim the monster, and we can, I would not say tame it, but as much as, make it feel warm and compassionate and welcome. And then the monster will honestly tame itself when we're doing it right.
Yeah.
So that's like a lot of what we're thinking about Christmas stories, because I'm going to be honest, I really don't think there's enough diverse Christmas stories. And when I say diverse, I mean like diverse perspectives, diverse backgrounds in the writers, because I see like people like where I would expect, I know they have like a diverse background, upbringing, and then they still write the same old thing that's already been written a million times. And I'm like, but you're not in this story. I can tell. I know who you are as a writer. I know your background. And I don't see any of that background here in your Christmas story. Let's get over this internalized, like the mainstreaming of our own writer hearts and get into your particular flavor as a writer. Put yourself in the story. Put your background, really.
Or like, the problem everyone's been having with, what's that new one? Holidays or something? What's the one with, Kristen Stewart?
Holiday season. No, happiest season.
Happiest season of, no, this main character we don't like. This is not, they should be broken up. Why we can't, it's hard for anyone to believe this. They've been a couple for very long at all. And by the end, they're not any better. Like, no, this is not a good story.
And I would love to see a Christmas story that kind of rejects cis heteronormativity.
Yes.
Because that was the one thing that like shocked me when you started talking about this. I was like, ooh, and being the person that I am, I'm going to bring in that like super gay Christmas. I couldn't find it.
Which one? Yeah.
I know.
I
like we love, by the way, we love, I don't know what you call it, but like gay comedies, those gay rom-coms. That's what. So Tom and I have loved these for like years. In fact, it was one of the reasons we kept our Hulu account, was because Hulu tended to actually get more of these, like, I don't want to call them B movies, but they're definitely more indie movies.
Oh yeah.
With these gay rom-coms. And there's always a parent who doesn't know someone's gay and they're visiting. I love these. There's also like often a blind date somewhere involved. There's a lot of these and we love them, but there's not really much in the way of the Christmas version of this genre. And we love those kind of like, because we love like how gay rom-coms tend to like get a little bit more in the farcical. We love farces so much. And then, but there's not really a gay rom-com farcical Christmas movies or Christmas books or stories of any kind. And like, but I love these. Why have we not done this?
And when I was looking into it, like, there's all this celebration because, there's a stock Hallmark movie now with a gay couple in it, but they didn't just basically change the gender of one character. But it's every other Hallmark Christmas movie. And
are you talking about the one where they filmed it both ways?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, they filmed it. They filmed the scene, one with a gay couple and one where they swapped out one of the guys for a female actress, and they filmed it again, and they marketed it under two different names, but essentially one is heteronormative and one has a tertiary gay couple in it. And I'm like,
there's one of those too.
Really? Why?
And I'm like, this is what we're supposed to celebrate? Because, if anybody does Christmas, like everybody calls Halloween gay Christmas. No, honey. Christmas is gay Christmas.
Oh, yes. I love it.
It's the season of sparkles and glitter. Oh, honey.
Those tinsel garlands, and then the people wear it like feather boas. Oh, yes, honey.
Like,
yes.
Where is my lady
staple
bunny?
It to their skirts. I'm like, yeah, do this. Yeah, I'm here for this.
Where is my lady bunny is the Christmas tree.
Yes.
Let's all unwrap Amanda Lepore movie. Like, let's be honest. Like, how does this not exist?
Yes, exactly. But where are the characters who have disabilities where it's not, Christmas will heal them?
Yes. Oh God.
Well, so here's the problem: is they keep talking like, and this is isn't this a quote from? It's a quote from I believe the Bible, but it's definitely a quote from Dickens' Christmas Carol. about how, Jesus made lame beggars walk and this one.
Mhm.
And so they've taken that line and now it's like, oh, but if you're disabled in a Christmas story of any kind, somehow the Christmas spirit will fix you. And I'm like, that's not what they want. They don't want to be fixed. They want the world to fix. They want the world fixed so they can actually have accessibility and mobility.
There's such a big difference between having whatever issues are going on with you and being broken. Like, I've talked about this so much, and I feel like a broken record. But like, you can't stop saying it. It's like with the heteronormativity thing. Like, if you stop saying it, well, people haven't listened yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to be that broken record. That's
Right.
like, it's not being broken. Yeah, my legs, my knees are bad. I can barely walk on a good day. Yay. But you know what? It made me who I am. It made me have to slow down and actually like examine my life and stop being the horrible edgelord person that I was before I hurt before my injuries, right?
I mean, like to do a case in point, I mean, that's sort of the point of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Of Jack tries to turn everyone into people they're not.
Yes.
To suit his needs.
Yep.
Right.
Versus letting them be who they are. And because whenever they are who they actually are, they're happy people.
They're happy. Everyone's happy.
It's a great town.
Halloween town, except for Jack. And so Jack turns around and makes everybody a bit slightly unhappy so he can be slightly happy.
And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Versus, I was just looking at the list of movies we have for this one. And Arthur Christmas.
Yes.
Where start accepting people for who they are, and they can really add so much to who we are. Of,
Yep.
The older brother gets, supply side and how to run a business and how to keep things running in this model to care about people. Versus his younger brother knows how to care, but he has no sense of how to run. Yeah. And
he has no sense of how things work.
Yeah.
Like a GPS, how that works.
And so the part of like trying to make either of them
only Santa?
Yeah.
Or, quite honestly, together they make a really great, competent Santa.
Yes.
And why can't we have that? Why can't we have them work as a team? What's wrong with teams? Nothing.
Why does it have to be one or none?
Can I just say, this is something that really bothers me. We're supposed to be a democratic state, right? Where we are all about the democracy, which is about the people coming together. How that has turned into this, like, but we choose the one, the leader. No. We choose the person that's going to like do all the dirty work so that we can do our other stuff. This idea of like teams should be baked into our culture.
Right.
Yes.
No matter what democratic nation you come from, right? Like that should just be a part of who we are as a society, because that is the core value of a democracy, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it always amazes me that we still are trapped in this monarchistic, but no, we're picking the one.
Well, welcome to there's a third of people who would rather live in a monarchy than a democracy.
Yes.
And whenever you hear people say the one, you're hearing monarchist.
Yep.
They don't want any responsibility for their own actions.
Don't blame me. I voted for blank, 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 blank. Yeah. Yes. We hear it all the time. But yeah, that is what I wanted to get at about Christmas movies and Christmas stories. Because it's not really movies. It's Christmas stories. It's just movies are so accessible. We can watch them one after the other. And get
speaking of, why don't you talk about what and why you had a certain special on repeat?
I don't know what you're talking about.
How many times? 7, 8 times total?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never. Wait, what?
In one day.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
How many times did Olaf discover the meaning of Christmas? Eight times, was it?
In one day. One evening, actually.
Yes.
So on repeat.
Why? Why did we keep going
back? Because I need kittens and mittens.
Because it's about celebrating everyone's own individual and how we can come together, and that having your own individual traits does not mean you're no longer part of the group. That's what Olaf keeps learning. And we can celebrate that. We can be happy. We all have our own family traditions. As, as that guy was talking about in his little Twitter stream of everyone has their own traditions. Do not suggest they change them.
They will stab you in the neck.
Yeah.
I
The
love
whole
it.
season about how we should be nice to each other, but God help you if you like.
Don't mess with the traditions. They'll stab you in the neck. I have learned that one personally as well.
Yes.
Like, do not suggest that we not have cinnamon rolls for Christmas morning. Oh my God. Santa might not come the night before if we don't have cinnamon rolls. Calm down. Calm those titties down. It'll be okay. Yes.
You say that, but I have heard those lines from you.
In my defense, it was 20 years ago.
If there's no cinnamon rolls, well, it's just not Christmas. It's over.
I have said
Forget it. Why are you still trying to celebrate?
They were made from scratch, too, by the way. I've been making cinnamon rolls from scratch since middle school. I am still working on my recipe. Do I need to mail you some? Good luck.
Trying to get my best Puss in Boots face on it.
I know you're only like what?
Hat.
A 5.5 hour drive away.
I know, but mail-wise, he's like 2 months away.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's hard sending food right now when it's all chaos.
Versus, you were right. The Lego holiday special for Star Wars.
Oh, wasn't it? Yeah, I got time to watch it, and it was great.
That's what I want in a Star Wars movie.
I love that they revisit the old, but they also essentially forge new as well. I want there to be a nod to the old part of the stories, to the stories that have already gone before. And then I want them to forge a little bit of a new story about the Star Wars universe. That's what I want. And they gave me everything I wanted.
The Lego Star Wars Christmas movie is one of the better Christmas movies that I've seen, because you have the loss of hope, you have the learning a lesson and learning to accept one another and all of that, but with so much just effervescent silliness.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just through
Kylo Ren as the new what do you call him?
Sith.
Yeah,
the
new apprentice.
Yeah,
the new apprentice.
Oh
you would never throw me into the core, would you?
I feel like Palpatine really came into his own in the Star Wars Lego Holiday Special. I've never seen Palpatine truly flesh out as a character before this special.
Can you please put a shirt on?
I loved it. He truly had a character arc, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, they've never given him this level of three-dimensional, character concept before. And I thought it was actually surprisingly delightful and refreshing. Unlike all the, hello, here's our two-dimensional cardboard cutout, and he can shoot electricity. It's great. And he wears a hoodie. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah, so I actually enjoyed that, but I enjoyed almost everything. I also thought it was nice to see Rey with truly trying to grow as a person, and we see that she's failing at something, when honestly, has she had that much true failure before? Not necessarily. She's had people get in her way, but she's never had where she has figured out that she's not equipped for this situation, and she needs to grow quick, fast if she is going to get to move on to the next part that she wants to go to. And it was so nice to see, because I really don't feel like children are shown that enough. Of there comes a moment in all of us as humans where we realize, I am not equipped for this problem, but I have to get equipped fast.
All I'm saying is I've never wanted a Star Wars Christmas Carol more in my life, where the ghosts of Yoda, Anakin, and Obi-Wan come and visit people in the middle of the night to make them better people. I need this now, Lego Star Wars people.
I think if anyone could do it, it would be them.
Yes.
Lego can bring it. I'm just saying.
I just, I mean, Ewan McGregor is going to be there for a while, so you could like get him to record his lines like real quick, like while
Get it
he's
now.
on set, and like.
Yep.
Same with Hayden Christensen. He's going to be on set too, so you can get your Anakin lines in. Like, it's fine. It's fine. Just do it.
Do it. Yep. But
I
yeah.
enjoy this so much.
So, how do we feel about this? Do we have any more hot takes or last things we want to talk about Christmas stories? Other than I really would like to see more diverse Christmas stories that are not like sort of internalized, ableist, heteronormative stuff that we've already had. We've had plenty of that. Let's move on.
How about the Doctor Who Christmas specials do actually tend to be more diverse?
Yeah.
They are actually diverse. They are not as heteronormative or ableist as a lot of them. Like, that's part of what we really loved about them when they were going.
I do like that he's also scary. I like him being just a little bit scary, just enough to like, what will happen? Will everybody be okay?
I would like to see somebody make an honest-to-God pagan Yule movie that doesn't have to be a horror film. Because when you think of, we're going to bring the pagans or the witches in, it's always, and it's going to be a horror movie. Like, I would love to see an honest-to-God Yule movie just to see what that would look like. Like, I want, like, bring in a full pagan writing crew and director, and, like, what would that look like? I would love to see that.
So, would that be like witches and elves dancing and holding hands? Like, what would that be? Because, like, most of the pagan Christmas-ish already seems to be rather scary genres. Like, there's the Yule Cat and what is it? The Yule Lads, and I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff, and they all seem to have originally been kind of scary.
Which, by the way, the closest I've gotten to that is the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Christmas special that they did. I think it was last year or year before last, where they actually used the Yule Lads. They're actually in there. But it has all of the things that you want for love and hope and everything from these evil Satanist people doing their things in the woods. My entertainment really has become Satan focused lately.
It's funny how that works out.
This is a problem.
I don't
recognize it myself.
I don't think technically it's a problem. I think it's an interesting pivot.
I'm just saying. I'm saying this while I literally have these staring at me from the top of my head.
Hold on.
So,
Merry, Merry Pagan Christmas, y'all.
Well, I grew up around a lot of pagans and the music. Like, just for one thing, like, just give me a pagan musical with all of that glorious Yule music. It's amazing. It's fantastic, and I would gladly give up my Christmas carols for some of that.
Well, I mean, like, and the reason why I asked what would that look like is because I grew up with my mother telling me stories of Baba Yaga. However, my mother's stories of Baba Yaga was a neutral to good character. And it was, it was like, look, she's powerful, so don't tick her off. But she will help you if you're, well-mannered, and if you're in genuine need, she will help you out. And that was like, because my mother had tons of stories about Baba Yaga. And at the time when I grew a little older, and like all the stories I found afterwards, like in libraries and so on, were all very negative about Baba Yaga. And so I was like, is this for my mother's feminist agenda? What the heck? No, I really wondered. And by the time I found this out, she had just died. And I'm like, well, we'll never know now. However, recently it's come out that, no, there is a subset regional area, which I'm now wondering, is that where my mother's family actually was from? Where Baba Yaga is seen more as a positive force in the woods rather than strictly a negative or dangerous force in most of the stories in most of the rest of Eastern Europe. And so that's what I mean of like, what would that look like? Not because I can't think of anything, but like, what does it look like to you? Because see, for instance, I grew up with these positive monster stories. Like, yes, Baba Yaga does live in a house with chicken feet. And she can go anywhere she wants to. And she can also ride a mortar and pestle anywhere she wants to. So do not get in her way because she will knock you the blank out. And, this is like the stories of my childhood. And again, like, yeah, technically, I guess you could say she was a monster. But she was a monster who, when she saw good in you, would give good back. And that's the world I think of. So when people talk about like, well, I want a positive pagan, I'm like, okay, talk about what it is you want. In that, like, how do you interpret the positive pagan? Because, like, for me, it's like, yeah, Baba Yaga, do not mess with her. She will blank your world up.
I honestly don't know exactly what it would look like, and that's kind of why I want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are kind of seeing a renaissance of heathenry and paganism and witchcraft right now, and I would just like to see that inflected into some of these traditions a little bit, because you see, like, whether they were successful or not, you see a lot of the other cultures that have been assimilated into American culture start showing up in our Christmas tradition movies. And this is one that is a fairly strong and growing section that just, when you see them brought in, you know, oh, this is going to be a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a default. It's just a given.
Yeah. So, like, I'm like been researching the Yule Cat because, hello, murder floof. Yeah.
Yule Cat is freaky.
So I was watching that PBS story thing about the Yule Cat, you know, and they have pictures. I love it. And they were talking about how the Yule Cat, you know, is like attacks people, particularly children, in torn or raggedy clothing at Christmas. And they were really going into, you know, wool production in Iceland. So they were really going into backstory. However, I would love, you know, a Yule Cat story about the Yule Cat does not kill children in raggedy clothes, but rather grabs them and takes them to her little home where, I can't remember the mother of them, Gringol, or, you know, the one with the like 300 heads or something, or used to have 300 heads. She takes like all these little raggedy children and it's like, now you're mine. I have a new pet. Look, I've brought more little raggedy children pets, and they now live in a home where they actually are given nice clothes and cared for rather than being neglected. I would love something like that because I think that would be sweet rather than, oh, yes, she'll murder you.
I think it would be interesting. I think it would be fun. I just, it's that diversity in everything. Like, when everything that I do in my life eventually circles back to Star Trek because it is the root metaphor of my soul. Okay. But like, this is like that infinite diversity and infinite combination that I crave in so much, and for a genre that has stagnated so much because we've just done rom-com and add the word Christmas to it. Yes. Like, that's what most Christmas movies are today, is, oh, those rom-coms that really wouldn't sell any period of time. So, oh, those knockoff Princess Diary movies, let's just call it the Christmas Prince, and people will go crazy for it as Christmas.
I do love that video about the dystopia that is the Christmas Prince world. And I'm like, and I watched that whole thing. It's so long, and I loved it. I love every time she examines everything that makes this a terrible dystopian kingdom. Yep. And I'm like, yep, that pretty much checks out. Yes. Now that, but yeah, like, and I mean, like, the Yule Cat lives with the Christmas lads, and what are they, like 8 to 22 of them or something?
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, and because like what happened was, we had some feral cats kind of adopt our, you know, house, where we live, our apartment. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but the mama cat who'd had these kittens, when her kittens grew up, and we gave most of them away once they were old enough, you know, and they were a little bit older than old enough. I'm gonna be honest, because I don't like separating them when they're still babies. But anyhow, another cat, because it was now summer, another cat had kittens. However, this cat apparently was rather neglectful, in the opinion of our mama cat, and she went and stole one and put it on our front porch, and we're like, why are we kidnapping now? Stop this. And she wouldn't return it. And there I'm like, what do we do? I don't know. This poor thing its eyes, I don't think its eyes were even open. She stole a baby kitten.
Coming from Glory in 2021, the tale of the Christmas cat.
And I thought, you know, that would be like the Yule Cat, like, goes and steals little neglected children in raggedy clothes. I'm like, no, nobody was taking care of this one, so I'm taking care of it now. I have more little children now. And this is what the Yule lads maybe are from, is the Yule Cat keeps collecting little neglected children, and they grow up and they become Christmas lads. I don't know. I'm workshopping this, okay?
I'll read it.
I'm here. I'm
It's gonna
fascinated.
be so heartwarming. You're gonna hate it. It's gonna be just so adorable. An enormous cat the size of a house, stealing little children, taking it back to her nest in the cave. Going, but these are my babies, and just licking them. And they're like, no, don't make me clean. It's
If I don't need an insulin drip by the time I'm done reading the story, you have failed.
Well, because that's how cats can be. You know, they get that maternal instinct, and they're like, "Look, I've stolen your baby. If you want it, you have to come back and get it." You know, just throwing that out there, y'all. Just saying. I know. Hello, Maggie. It is lovely to see you. I know, but see, like, my little heartwarming is that it's just they disappear, so everybody assumes the murder floof eats them, but instead she's taking them back home.
Well, it's like everybody says the Cthulhu makes you go crazy, but I said the chance I went to the island, I let his cephalopodal noises do terrible things to me, and I'm fine.
Totally fine, can't you tell?
I want to say, I have a theory about Cthulhu and this whole going crazy thing.
Tell me about cosmic horror for Christmas. Go on.
Is that what I'm really hearing with this whole causing people to go crazy? Those are the people who can't drop toxic masculinity, who can't drop their privileges in society, and they're the ones who actually go crazy. Everyone else, people who are used to being oppressed, people who are used to not, being sure they're safe because of the way they look, they're safe from Cthulhu because they're not surprised of, oh, now there's yet another being that is so much more powerful than I will ever be. I need to avoid getting on their radar because I like living.
If I write the story, I will give you a co-writer credit.
Like, okay, so like Tom and I used to talk about, I don't know who's familiar, but in Douglas Adams, I think it was book 2 with the total reality vortex.
That was 2.
Yes, 2.
Okay. So like they're going into all this detail. I think it's a little too detailed in my opinion, but they're going into all this detail about the total reality vortex, and they're describing how you find out just exactly how insignificant you are in the universe.
Because it gives you it real quick. It gives the person who goes in there a momentary glimpse of just how insignificant they are on the scale of the universe.
Right.
It gives your brain a sudden pop image of the entire universe and where you are located in it.
And I already consider myself absolutely insignificant, not only to the whole universe, but frankly to the whole earth, to the world, to the South, to America, to Mississippi, to my town. I consider myself insignificant to everyone except my brother. And for him, I'm only mildly significant. Mildly, just momentarily significant. And so I'm like, I just don't think I would actually be negatively affected. If anything, I would be comforted. Like, finally, nothing depends on me. I have no burden left. I'm great. Like, I thought, like, this would actually be a comforting thing for me to be in there, even though it's supposed to drive men mad. And, like, maybe men. But anyway, but me, on the other hand, I would feel unburdened. Like, I don't have a responsibility to society and the rest of the planet to actually be a productive member, but I could just be myself, to hell with everyone else, and just do my thing and not feel burdened by all these expectations of how I should behave and who I should be kind to, even when they're abusers and terrible people, at least terrible to me, and so on. And I'm like, I would feel comforted being in the total reality vortex. I do not understand this perspective of it'll drive people mad. Wouldn't most people be comforted to find out it's not all depending on you? You're okay, and you can drop the ball, and it doesn't mean terrible things will happen to people you love.
But narcissists would lose their mind.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've already lost their mind. They're not in their right mind. Spoiler alert.
I feel spoiled for life now.
Okay.
You totally spoiled all of life for me. There's no mystery left. Narcissists are broken. Yay.
We went through this a decade ago. We had to come up with reasons to keep going. We have plans through our writing to long-term affect society. And that's why we keep going. We're going to put all of our deep, dark ideas into our stories and watch as it blossoms over the next 800 years.
I've heard worse reasons.
Yeah, we're just trying to put out viral thoughts. And then I figured out about YouTube, and I was like, this is for anybody who wanders through. Here you go, all these viral thoughts. Let them permeate. I do not need credit. Because, like, again, you can be right or you can have your own way, but you can't necessarily have both. I would rather have my own way than be right. Maggie, I hope your migraine feels better or you get some relief soon. Those suck. And yet, so holiday correct. I always get a migraine for Thanksgiving. Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, emotional. I'm doing fine. So CB would love Ralph Fiennes to narrate. I mean, honey, if you know him, I will write something for him ASAP, even if it is a total bag of crap. I could put out nonsense. I need Icelanders to forgive me for appropriating their cultural story. And totally making it kind and sweet rather than scary and frightening and cold.
You know, from the people who had to actually get legislated, you have to stop scaring children at Christmas.
Yes, that was a real regulation passed in Iceland in 1758 or something.
Yeah. You have to stop scaring the kids.
Yeah.
You cannot tell any more scary stories to kids at Christmas. You're traumatizing them too much for life.
Right. So, how are we? Did nobody got bingo? Nobody? Not a soul?
I thought one person got bingo.
Oh, did I miss it? Shoot. I was probably talking. If you got bingo, bingo again so I see it. And I will write it down this time.
Yeah, Eva.
Okay.
Eva had bingo.
Oh, bingo. Uh-oh, bingo.
Uh-oh. It's like when you play the bad version of bingo.
It was in the middle of our
bingo.
discussion about, the giant get-together and what we would all make.
Okay. So, just Eva. Did anyone else get bingo? You can just go ahead and nobody's checking your work, honey. Just if you got bingo or you're like, look, I one short. And then all right, it's Christmas. It's bingo. What you got? Bring on the bingos. Okay, well we know Megan didn't get a bingo.
I think Megan is lying. I think Megan secretly
You
got
think
one.
maybe I need to write Megan down under winners anyway? I will threaten you with it.
I'm just saying. I know how reserved and quiet.
No one ate something. What?
Is Megan a bingo fibber?
No, that's not true. That's not true. Tom had a banana. I saw Tom have a banana.
Bingo.
I'm really subtle.
He is. Look, he's a little sneaky guy. He's always been this way. He will.
I'm just saying, not to call Tom out, but Tom did. Tom ate a banana. I saw it.
I ate two bananas, actually.
He had two bananas because he one in a smoothie. I've just been over here drinking tea and coffee. There's your ASMR. That's how my grandmother used to call waiters over. Seriously. Because
Gloria,
you don't snap your fingers.
Yeah, you have a problem because you have a tendency to do that anyway.
I know.
And then the waiters just show up because they know the sound. It's like, oh, wait, I'm being summoned.
Well, I do it to cool down my drink, and they think they're being summoned of look, this drink is low, which my drink is low. But anyway. So Megan has a bingo. How about you, Maggie? Anybody else left? Is there anybody else in here? Stevie? If you don't want food, we could send you crochet. Or you could have, talk time with Tom to help you with your laptop if you need it. It does work on Mac. Don't let me force you. Tom, why is there a echo? Do you hear an echo?
Yeah, because my earphones died.
Oh.
so it's having to do a little squelch.
Oh, okay. Well, we're thrilled for Megan and Eva.
See, Megan, I told you had one.
See? Yeah, who else
See.
is near bingo? And we'll see if you just missed the square. Anyway, you can always come to me later, too. Does anybody have any final thoughts, as well as your outros?
Final thoughts. I want there to be more diversity in Christmas movies because, like I said, some of my favorite ones are the ones that are unexpected. Because I look at like Rise of the Guardians, and to me, that's a Christmas movie. And it's not just because it has Santa Claus in it or because it has Jack Frost in it. It's the whole point of the story is about saving that innocence, saving that ability to dream. It's about keeping hope alive. And that makes it a Christmas movie for me. And I like that it's not a stereotypical Christmas movie. Not all Christmas movies have to be romances. Like, that's fine. That's wonderful if that's what you want to do. But can we please have like that hope story that's have it be something else?
Yes.
You know, I don't. The moral of the story is not I found the person who completed me, thus Christmas is solved. You know, I would love to see like more actual family stories. And I'm hoping to actually write some. I was hoping to have one finished by this year, but I got distracted by depression and it did not happen. But there is a next year. So.
There is always next year. Until there isn't. Yes,
Yeah.
What was it? Psychic Apocalyptic Writers.
The Psychic Writers Guild of America.
Thank you.
Of the apocalypse, yeah. Because
oh yeah, since we have them here, Glory, don't forget, let's put them to good use.
I do like how our show ends up becoming an inadvertent meeting of Psychic Apocalyptic Writers Guild.
And that is, we need you two to actually write like a good future for Glory and I. We need resources and money to go about our plans.
Yes.
To make the world better.
2 years ago, my car died. I have not had a car since, and it is my hope in the next 5 years to get, what is it? It's a Prius hybrid Model C, the third generation, isn't it? Or something? Because it's so much bigger and you can sleep in it and the AC will run, so it's pretty much hurricane proof. And then we would like a house, like a proper house, so that we can foster kids. And maybe have a goat come.
And then make the writers' retreat compound.
Yeah, we wanted to have a writers' retreat compound, so we can put the little Katrina cottages in the back of 40, and then we can have all our writer friends visit, and I can cook for everybody.
that sounds like magic.
I mean, like, we won't have it in the summer because it's freaking crazy hot here. So it will be in the wintertime, when winds are depressing everywhere else, but it's actually quite mild here. Like, honestly, like January here, the high is normally like 54. It's lovely.
And we really have no shame in how this happens, whether it's through, lottery winning or just writing success. But, come up with something.
I mean, because we are of the apocalypse, it has to be something like, Elon Musk gets drunk one night, writes check at random, shows up at house, and just goes, to hell with it, and lets it be cashed. We gotta take somebody down.
I mean, he's not my favorite person, but I will take it. I am ready to sell out. You just show me the form. I need to read the contract ahead of time. And I will happily sell out.
Can I just say, as somebody who has all my life heard about the gay agenda and has yet to be approached by anyone and given my toaster or my membership card, I do require some knowledge so that I can actually make that mad money that is supposed to be coming my way.
You have to have a toaster for the gay agenda? Like a toaster, like a pop-up or a toaster oven? Is this some part of the gay agenda?
I've gotten many people to realize that they're bi, which technically is conversion, which is technically earning me a toaster. I saw Ellen. I know how that works.
I apparently know so little.
At the very end of the episode where Ellen comes out the closet, the girl she falls in love with goes to meet Melissa Etheridge in this warehouse to get her ticket stamped because she got another one and is given a toaster because you get a toaster when you get people to come out the closet.
I think you're owed several toasters.
Where's my
By
toaster
now,
at?
you should be like able to upgrade to a convection oven.
And why haven't I gotten to meet Melissa Etheridge? Like apparently everybody else has.
I don't know.
Like I've just met like Lady Bunny and Mistress Formica, and like they're wonderful people, but like seriously.
I don't know.
Where's my Matt Bomer? Like I've done enough for the cause. Give me my Matt Bomer, please.
I have inadvertently helped a bunch of men realize that they were bisexual too, but that's a PCOS story, oddly enough, and not as much a pansexual story. Because I've been on hormone therapy for like 20 years. So, you know, this is the beautiful power of female hormones. But yeah, in my early 20s, I looked very masculine because I had apparently enough hormones for 3 pregnant women. Like, that's what one doctor told me. And then he opened a window because he said he could smell it. And I had just showered. I was like, what? So anyway, yeah, but apparently I had like a lot of testosterone essentially. And yeah, latent bisexuals are apparently very attracted to that. Whatever. It hasn't actually stopped the latent bisexuals though. For some reason, the 20 years of hormone therapy has not. Life's funny. I know, like, I don't think being forceful and knowing what you want is masculine, but whatever. Okay. You know, I'm definitely with non-binary on that of like, what is up with this whole masculinizing and feminizing, like personality traits and characteristics? Stop this nonsense.
So for an outro, I'm just going to say we are going to be streaming on Christmas Day, probably at my regular time, unless there would be a time that's better for the community. So let me know so that we can talk about that before I schedule it, because I don't know how long it's going to be. The hubby's actually thinking about having us just play our Civ tournament against each other and stream that while we talk to y'all. I don't know. That might be what it is. It's going to be different. It's not going to be like, you know, sprints and writing and stuff. It's just going to be kind of a hangout thing. But
yeah, I could bring my crochet.
It's going to be different because the hubby will be there. And if you haven't guessed from his like guest appearances on all the other streams I do, he's opinionated and has a lot of dirty jokes. So
he does. What time are you planning to start on Friday? Your time?
Usually I start streaming at 5:00 Eastern time, but that's why I'm kind of like putting it out there if there's a time that's better, because some people do a Christmas dinner instead of like, we've always done Christmas like lunches in my family because we want to get away from everybody else as soon as possible. So we like as close to breakfast as you can get the meal. That's when we would have it. So I'm used to having like the actual like Christmas meal early. So, you know, if anybody who wants to attend has a special time request, we can look into that. And I will be streaming for New Year's Eve as well.
Cool.
I'll be home alone because I do not go out on Christmas Eve, because nothing good happens if I go out on Christmas Eve.
Note to self. Okay. Tom, do you have any outro or anything you want to say?
Not really. It's Christmas time. Let us all try to be merry and find reasons for cheer and hope. And support each other.
Well, hi, I'm Glory, and I hope you know you've wandered onto my channel. And I do a regular show on Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, with my brother, usually anyway, always, hopefully, and various friends, as Charlie is a friend of the Awkward Siblings. And, you know, we just don't know what we're doing. We are going to be getting excited about movies through this year and probably into a week or two in January. And then we're going to start back on the Awkward Sibling Hour, where we will talk about autism and issues as they relate to autism. Mostly just to raise awareness and to help people write better autistic characters. Deep breath. We're so glad you came. We hope you will come again. What is next week, Lori? What a great question. I'm so glad you asked. If only. I'm pretty sure it's something queer. Yes. Southern queer playwrights. Okay, so here's how it goes. We have scoured the world. It is not a complete list because we're very disappointed about the lack of diversity in we're looking for plays that have been either recorded and are available to watch as the play or have been converted to film, to cinema, to movies. And they are Southern queer playwrights.
And everybody already knows all the Tennessee Williams plays, so they don't need to be added.
I mean, yeah. Although, look, I do love Tennessee Williams in that he's from Mississippi. So we look, I'm proud of what Mississippi. Well, no. Let me rephrase that. I'm proud of some of what Mississippi puts out. I am not proud of all, but I am proud of some of what Mississippi puts out, and it's probably all the things that your mama has already warned you against. That's what I'm proud of. So we're going to talk about Southern queer playwrights and how their stories truly are I think, an inspiring example of own voices. And what we can take away from that as writers ourselves, especially writers who are imparting part of their own background experiences into their stories. And so that's really what we're going to talk about next week. And I do hope all of y'all will come. I just want y'all to know that we always put information in the description. And we're going to try to start posting more to that community page. So maybe you can see ahead of time what are the movies in case you can source it. And if you need any help sourcing movies, please let me know. I will do everything I can to help you. I want everyone to get a chance to watch this stuff. I am particularly proud of all our queer Southern playwrights. We are working on getting more of them available as plays that you can view. So we're essentially already planning to revisit this next year. So just know it is not complete. But we're going to still talk about it because I think it's a wonderful example of own voices. And so we hope you will come back next week and we will continue to do bingo because I have so many things to give you. Please take. I am that child. Please take these meager things I have for you. Now I
make her make her own vinyl Vader of shame.
Oh. So thank you for coming, and we will see you next week. And you'll probably see me on Charlie's stream on Friday. Anyway, also, by the way, I forgot to mention, I've started a Twitch crochet channel, and the link is down below under my information. So thanks for coming. Bye.